Find those travels as you can. What's going on, everybody? Hello to GOG. What's going on, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday afternoon. It's about 10 minutes after 4 Eastern Standard Time. My name is Arvin Elleron. I am your host of Pen and Pixels as we move on to episode 59, I want to say. I should actually have known this beforehand. I think this is episode 59. Hold on, as he hurriedly rushes to check, not in any way looking at perhaps, conceivably the thing he should have known before. It is episode 59. Yay. My memory has not failed me. Episode 59 of Pen and Pixels, and we're going to be playing some Tyranny today. I hope everyone is doing well as we continue our Tyranny playthrough on this show, which focuses on story and narrative in games. Next Tuesday, I should say, on the next Pen and Pixels, if all goes well, there is a good chance we will be continuing our D&D campaign with the GOG stream crew. That's going to be happening hopefully a week from today. If not, though, Tyranny will be continuing until morale improves, basically. But we made some good progress last time. We got through, I believe it was Act 1 and are just about to start Act 2. So we made some good progress, and we're going to hopefully continue that progress going forward. You guys know the way to support the stream if you have not done so already. Please make sure to follow the channel, and please sub to GOG, because thanks to the hard work of our Lord and Master, Outstar Walker, we've gotten some great emotes that you guys can use. Also, it benefits charity and a lot of other cool things. So please do that if you possibly can. That would be much appreciated. Let me get rid of this and let me turn on that. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Welcome to episode 59 of Pen and Pixels as we move on with Tyranny. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. It's interesting that Outstar was playing Commandos before and mentioned the thing about Shadow Tactics, because on my own channel, we just had our final vote, and the chat chosen game of the month for this month is, in fact, Shadow Tactics, beating out Breath of Fire by a couple of votes. So I'm going to be playing Shadow Tactics on my channel, so sometime next week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that game is all about. I want to say I played a little bit of Commandos way back in the day, but I honestly don't remember for sure. I'm not 100% sure if I did or not. So, but in any case, I am very, very happy that Outstar was able to get a little bit of that demonstration in, and we'll see if we possibly can. Any min-maxing? Not from me, Malchus. Not from me. What's up, Gross? How you doing, man? Not min-maxing from me, but maxing the fun and the story and the narrative, minimizing the other stuff. That's our motto. With all that said, though, let us head over and get back into it, people. The time has come to return to the land of Tyranny. Let's do it. Yeah, something like that. And I always get it mixed up with Jagged Alliance in terms of like the gameplay. I always get it mixed up a little bit. I'm always like, man, I think it was Jagged Alliance. So. All right, so here goes Tyranny, and of course, as I started up, I realize, again, every time I do this, I forget that the first time I launch Tyranny always takes a long time to load, so apologies ahead of time. I always forget that. I'm always like, oh yeah, Tyranny, this game is fine, except for the first time. When you manage to break the physics of the game, yeah. You ever dance with witches in the pale moonlight? Burn. In Shadow Tactics? Oh, I'm not playing on hardcore difficulty. I is not hardcore. I do not play hardcore. I play normal difficulty. Whatever normal difficulty is, because I've always believed that that's what the devs, assuming most people will play, that's what they balance the most for that. So yeah, no, I do not play hardcore. To me, massive amounts of frustration is not fun. I do not enjoy that, so fear not. Sorry, man. I'm not all about that life. Not all about that life. Yeah, we're on top of the spire. I remember now. And the only thing we have to do is we need to chat more with Zeb, I believe. We chatted with everybody else. We need to talk more with Zeb, and then we can start doing the quests and stuff. Oh, the affiliate links are pointing to me? Really? Oh, wow. I mean, I do have an affiliate link and stuff and things. But, okay, good. I have an affiliate link, but it's not me. Oh, the streamer links. That's odd. Yeah, Grainwald. I've actually been enjoying Tyranny quite a bit. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking that I'm going to have to, for my holiday stream in a week or so, I've got to, I guess week and a half, 2 weeks, I've got to come up with my top 10, not my top 10, my top games of the year, my personal list for 2016. And the truth is that I've only played 4 games that are new this year. I mean, I played a bunch of games this year, but a bunch of them were games from previous years. So the only games I've played that are new this year are Dishonored 2, this game, Tyranny, Warlock of Firetop Mountain, and Oxenfree. Those are the only ones I think that I've played that are brand new this year. Everything else is previous. So, yeah. Oh, is it Eb? Zeb, Eb, Beb, Leb. Hello, Outstar. Right. Right. Well, that's understandable, Malchus, but I feel like I'm always looking for balance in these games, and the devs, I feel always balance the most around normal. So, okay, Eb. What the hell are you? Revos. The flip is Revos. Where are these people? All right, let's finish talking to Eb first. Okay.
What is it you need?
Some questions for you. I have some questions about the people of the tiers.
We all know how to swim, and we all know how to fight. Most Northmen are lucky to make half that boast. What would you like to know?
Yeah, understandable, Henny. Yeah, Oxenfree was definitely interesting, Gross. Not a perfect game, but I liked it. I'm curious about the people of the tiers. I think you'll find each of us thinks themselves a child of Haven, as in my case, or a child of Azure, a child of Apex, or what have you. But I suppose we tiersmen have our shared customs. The most treasured of those customs used to be the pride of being free of Kairos' rule. Did you have particular questions? When were the tiers settled? Human settlers arrived over 400 years ago. Displaced from a war between what are now Kairos' realm of Trevin and Fertile Sands, a flotilla of barely seaworthy rigs and headed? I think they mean headed west across the high seas. That's interesting. So the tiersmen showed up here as a consequence of previous battles by Kairos. Interesting. Tiersmen will sometimes speak of the 5 wives. We use it to refer both to the first 5 settlements where the colonists made landfall, as well as to the 5 matriarchs that went on to form the ruling dynasties of the tiers. Of course, I'm leaving out the matter of the builders of the old walls. Who knows when they lived here and why they're gone, but those old walls didn't just fall out of the sky. Why don't men own land or women ships? For centuries it has been our way that the men own the ships but the women own the harbors. Our customs don't truly prevent ownership, they limit inheritance. Lands pass to daughters, then sisters, then mothers and aunts. Ships pass to sons, then brothers, then fathers and uncles. Seems strange to outsiders, but it makes sense to me. Men are blessed with wanderlust, women with a sense of the permanent. Likewise, the captain of a ship can't pause to carry a child, and the men grow restless if left in place. It's good to know that stereotypes are alive and well, even in these games. In truth, the custom varies from place to place, and you'll find men with enough wealth own land, and women with enough sway own ships. As is often the case, the nobles pick and choose their traditions. Why didn't the Younger Realms stand united against Kairos? Are you trying to rub it in? Yes, the Younger Realms were defeated one at a time by the invaders. Maybe if I were Queen of the Tiers, that wouldn't have happened. Well then, what would Queen Eb have done? I would have taken the threat seriously the moment troops were stopped marching to the gates of judgment. Am I the only person whose mother mentioned that Kairos was a real threat? Opportunity, that's what killed us. Haven wanted to watch the Bastard tier fall first, Apex was hoping Haven would fall, Azure wanted Stalwart to be attacked first. No, I know, Fisher, but I'm saying that those realms ended up leaving. It just said, I thought, I understood it as saying that they left because there were wars that were fighting against Kairos and stuff. So they left in the midst of that. Is that not true? It's what I thought I read. Every realm of the tiers had some interest in walking their neighbors' fall first, so we all held back our support until a year or so into the war. Too fucking late by then, squabbling idiots. Tiersmen live with greater numbers of beastmen. What's that like? The beastmen of the tiers are hardier and smarter than their kin elsewhere, and fortunately we've lived together in relative harmony for some time. Make no mistake, life is difficult for most beastmen in the tiers, but compared to, say, how they are treated in the Northern Empire, I'd like to think we tiersmen are a bit more modern and forward-thinking, even if just a bit. But I suppose I also take an overly optimistic view of our beastly cousins. I find their clumsy honesty endearing, and while no human will say nice things about my cooking, no beastman has ever said anything mean about my worst dishes.
We all know how to swim, and we all know how to fight. Most Kairos made swift work of the tiers, destroying most of the great armies of the Younger Realms in a few short years of war. Of course, queens can be bowed, captains slain, but we are a proud people. I think Kairos will find the stubborn remnants of the Tears hard to eradicate completely.
Okay. I guess I don't understand what I just read, though. Because I thought what I just read mentioned specifically Kairos. But maybe I'm wrong.
Was there a particular group you wish to discuss?
The Unbroken. What is this? The Unbroken Legion was the proud and accomplished army of the realm of Stalwart. Citing their victories as evidence of skill, they prided themselves... Oh, I did read about this. They never faced defeat until this happened.
The Unbroken is the name of the military of the now fallen realm of Stalwart. Every citizen of Stalwart was trained to fight, and all were expected to answer the rallying cry of the Regents, the ruling small council of the realm.
Hey, Pyron. Yeah, Tiers. T-I-E-R-S. Yep.
A decade ago, Stalwart was the ass end of jokes Tearsmen would tell each other. The people of Stalwart are obnoxiously proud of a long history of being invaded, but never losing. The disfavored put an end to their vaunted record of victory.
So basically, Stalwart was Scotland, right?
The Unbroken still persist, albeit marginally so. The disfavored withdrew after the Edict of Storms began shredding the landscape. Their holdfast of Sentinel Stand Keep was never taken, and the citizen army, though scattered, could still be rallied.
Let's see. Tell me about the Stonestalker tribe.
Kairos' war was disastrous to the human realm of Azure, but a stroke of luck for the numerous beastmen that toiled in Azure's endless wheat fields. With the masters all dead, the serfs have been set free. The Stonestalkers are a tribe born from these newly freed beasts. I imagine they would never bow to Kairos or the Archons. Too many generations have been enslaved. I'd wager anything they'll die before they ever bow. Beastmen understand strength and leadership, but it's always in the concrete sense. I can't pretend to know how they think, but I could never imagine them accepting an absent Prima. A distant ruler they can't see or smell seems a bit too abstract.
Prima, the leader of a beast tribe. A supremacy almost always held by a female, this rank is won and defended through vicious bloodshed and fights for dominance rather than birthright. Many alphas may exist within a single tribe, but only one can rise above the others as Prima. What about the Bronze Brotherhood?
The Bronze Brotherhood is one of the most feared and famous of the Free City mercenary companies. They serve the highest bidder, and during the war, that was Kairos. Most of the Brotherhood perished in the war, but a handful, the crew hired to work at Lethian's Crossing. They got to babysit the Forge-bound and survived the last few years with minor losses. The band is too small to be a serious threat to the disfavored or the chorus, but they are scourge-worshipping berserks that will adopt any enemy for the right price. Maybe even Kairos.
Are there other remnants of the younger realms that could still rise against Kairos?
Several sages came to our aid during the Second Battle of Vendrian's Well. I at first thought they meant to kill me, but instead they put their lives on the line for us. They spoke of others in their guild braving the Edict of Fire to salvage lore from the burning library. Though I may find them untrustworthy, it must be said that the sages have a certain fearlessness toward the Overlord. Perhaps that could be kindled further.
Having been part of the surrender faction within the school, I'd concur with that point. I thought the Edict of Fire would finally kill their defiant streak. But no, the sages still refuse to bow. We can and should mind their passion.
Historically speaking, an alliance with the School of Ink and Quill is just asking to have your efforts stolen and your goals undermined. Mark my words, some things never change.
Would you rather they be our enemies?
Well, perhaps we can shove them in front of the enemy. And the ones that volunteered at Vendrian's Well weren't all bad.
Alright. What about the different nations? Before Kairos came, the tiers were the younger realms, the bastard tier and the free cities, in about that order of prominence. We all trace our roots back to the Five Wives, though sometimes a bit of ancestral shoreline seems all we have in common. Tell me about the younger realms. Haven, Azure, Apex, and Stalwart have been the four major forces of the tiers for the last 4 centuries. A few other dynasties have tried their hand, but all eventually were defeated or absorbed into the 4 we know today. Not sure when the term younger came into fashion. Well, there's a few of these. There's a little bit too much of the QA mistakes with the typos, leaving a question marks period, like having this all of a sudden going into gray instead of white. I would have liked to see a little bit less of that. The gameplay itself is very smooth and consistent, but the QA, sometimes I'm like, come on, man. Let's pick up the pace. It's always been a term of humble contrast. Just look at the old walls. Someone was here before us and built them. Don't know really anything about them, but it stands to reason there used to be in older realms that did all the construction. Before Kairos came, the Tears were the younger realms. So basically, before Kairos came, we had the Protheans. Is that what I understand? The Bastard Tier and the Free Cities, and about that order of prominence. We all trace our roots back to the Five Wives, though sometimes a bit of ancestral shoreline seems all we have in common. All right, tell me about the Bastard Tier. It's the northernmost of the tiers and the choke point to the Northern Empire. It's been a hub of trade for centuries, and a long line of merchant families and private armies have kept the realm largely lawless. Oh, did you, Terry? Yeah. Though many of us used to joke about the bastard city being sacked by rabid dogs, Tunin's capture of the city was a terrible blow to the morale of the Tiersmen. We knew that day Kairos was more than just a fun story to scare your kids. Before Kairos came, the Tiers were the younger realms, the Bastard Tiers, and the Free Cities, in about that order of prominence. We all trace our roots back to the Five Wives. Okay, I said that already. What can you tell me about the Free Cities? There's little free about the Free Cities save for their independence from the younger realms. They're not physically adjacent, but rather politically allied by their shared hatred of the other realms. Most all of the Free Cities were defeated with little effort by Kairos' forces. The way I heard it, Nera just had to have agents hire up their mercenaries and order them to simply be elsewhere when the armies of the Overlord arrive. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Ask away.
Alright, what about the Archons?
Not entirely sure. Which is to say, there was a time I studied my enemy in great detail, but I've recently come to learn that much of my information was little more than lies and misdirection.
Agreed, Terry. This game has, I haven't had a single crash from this game. This game has had a lot fewer issues as far as launches are concerned. I think it was a fairly smooth launch, all things considered. What are the voices of Nerat? The Archon of Secrets lives up to his name. If he weren't so loathsome a beast, I'd half admire his mastery of the magical arts. They say he knows all the sigils lost to history, but I've also heard it said all that stolen knowledge is why he speaks in his different voices. I've heard it said all that stolen knowledge is why he speaks in his different voices. Okay. But in truth, I'm learning that most of what I know is just lies and misdirection. Though I guess he'd be a poor Archon of Secrets if I had my facts straight. Okay, what do you know of Graven Ash? Before the conquest, I assumed Graven Ash a harmless old man, an Archon in name only past his prime. I could not have been more wrong. Many have underestimated the great general by his age. Few of them have made the mistake twice. Ash is a remarkable general. He's led his tiny band of disfavored on a nearly unstoppable rampage of the Tiers. And he does not seem to win his wars with obvious displays of mystic powers, but with old-fashioned leadership and good soldiers. A year or so back, under a blue flag talk with the commander, I was told that the Archon knows the name of every soldier under his command, living and dead. The way the disfavored speak of Ash, you'd think he'd raised each of them from the cradle. Know anything of Cairn? Enough. Why the hostility? The Archon of Stone destroyed much that I hold dear. What more need I say? It's clearly a story. I'd like to hear it. A few years back, the remaining Elder Tidecasters met Cairn in battle. Tall as 10 men, all but invincible, and I thought nothing could stop us if we stood together. Whatever, it's old history. I'm glad you lived through it all. It's not, and I don't need your pity. Let's speak of other things. Okay, what do you know of Siren? I'm sure there may be younger Archons in the historical records, but Siren is certainly an unusually powerful child. Yeah, well, yeah, Henny. It said half of the Scarlet Chorus was recruited by Siren's persuasive song, and I'd not doubt it. I also know the voices of Nerat put a shackle on her power. Probably feared she'd become the favorite of the rabble.
Ask away.
What do you know of Arcane Society?
I know a great deal of the mages of the Tiers, or at least their history. Most are dead now. I know a little less about the guilds sworn to Kairos' Archons, but I try to make an effort to know my opposition.
Alright, what about the Earthshakers? The Earthshakers are the disciples of Cairn, Archon of Stone, and they share their master's command of tremors and soil. And they also share Cairn's aloof, brooding temperament. Yeah, as opposed to your kind, loving temperament, right? From what I gather, the Earthshakers serve the disfavored, but the relationship has been deeply strained by Cairn's fall from grace. I could imagine there's the fear Cairn shared with them something subversive or treasonous. Tell me about Bloodchanters. The Bloodchanters are the voices of Nerat's cabal of mages. I like how she's explaining this to me, and I'm actually in that kingdom. Their magic is taken from the sigil of Siren and from techniques stolen from the school of Wild Wrath, namely their magic of fire is learned from Thousand Embers, Archon of Fire. They barely qualify as a proper school or guild, most of them barely literate, and I bet most of them didn't learn a damn thing, just had their knowledge shoved into their heads by Nerat. They've all the brutal buffoonery of the chorus, but with the magic to make their bloodlust contagious. Their only redeeming feature, guess they make the sages seem not half bad. Oh, true. That's interesting, Duscalte. I didn't know that, actually. What can you tell me of the Forgebound? The Forge-bound have unusual sort of magic. They specialize in slow, painstaking rituals that do not produce the dazzling blasts of energy and shards of flying ice like my own magic. Instead, their spells render them immune to the fires of the forge and at one with their tools of the trade. I admit a bit of fascination with the guild. I much prefer the power and brutality of my own magic, but if I lived in a calmer, wiser time, I think there could be great satisfaction in using magic to become the master of one's craft. Yeah, I agree. I think that's interesting. Tell me about the School of Ink and Quill. Behind the Tidecasters, the sages of the School of Ink and Quill are the second oldest arcane institution in the tiers. We go way back a ways. Way back a ways. There's a lot of bad blood. If I'm being objective, the sages claim to be scholars interested in collecting, archive, and preserving lore from and for all humanity. They're quite keen to gather lore, but in no sense do they seek to share their knowledge with their tiersmen. Many of our secrets have been pilfered by sages' spies over the centuries, and we're not alone. The sages had the secrets of many other guilds. Their generations of theft have made them versatile and dangerous. Okay, what about your own guild, School of Tides? Our patron, Occulted Jade Archon of Tides, is as old as the settlers of the Five Wives, and for nearly 5 centuries we were masters of the coasts and the rivers. These days it's a school of one. You're looking at it. Why didn't your Archon fight in the war? About a year or so before the troops arrived in the Bastard Tier, Occulted Jade proclaimed the age of the Tiers was over and said she'd depart southwest into unknown, unending ocean rather than face Kairos. Most of my guildmates went along, choosing to risk the endless high seas rather than risk battle. A few of us, the militants as our peaceful brethren dubbed us, chose to stand and fight. To my knowledge, I am the last of those who decided to stay and fight. Okay. What was your school like before the war? There was a time when the Tidecasters were the most powerful guild of the tiers. Oh, I missed something. Oh. That's sweet, Pyron. Thank you. The Kingdom of Haven accepted us as defenders of sea trade, and the noble houses gave us peace and quiet in exchange for teaching their sons and daughters music, writing, and navigation. Though the other schools coveted our knowledge, they feared our wrath. Between our destructive magic and our Archon Patron, others knew that... Archon Patron! Archon Patron. Others knew that attacking us meant suicide. How did the school fall? The Archon Cairn issued a challenge, and Masters Fulvex, Hagravar, and Kembero leapt at the chance. I told them it was a hopeless clash. I think they were ready to die. As the youngest Tidecaster still in the tiers, I exercised the better part of valor and went into hiding. But then my sense of shame kicked in, and, well, that's about when I fell in with the Vendrian Guard. Old as the Five Wives? By all accounts, Occulted Jade was among the initial settlers that made landfall in the tiers before Kairos first cast an edict. Though she's a bit old and stooped, she looked amazing for nearly 500.
I know a great deal of the mages.
What of other magical schools and guilds? There have been several to crop up and wither across the centuries. The Cutters Guild took their healing magic north centuries ago. The School of Flowering Winter always limped along as an inconsequential group of gardeners. Most other schools in the tiers fizzled out early, slain by suspicious neighbors or subverted and destroyed by one of the big 3 schools.
Ask away.
Alright, travel companions. What do you make of Barrick?
My one concern with Barrick is that he's still loyal to Graven Ash and not to you. Barrick seems steadfast, faithful, and dependable. But if it comes down to you versus Graven Ash, therein lies the test.
If it weren't a tactical asset, it'd be fun to try and pry him out of that suit. Curious to see if his midsection is as strong, firm, and taut as I'd imagined it should be. Ha ha ha! So, Ebb and Barrick, huh? Interesting. What are your thoughts on verse?
We should consider ourselves fortunate that one of the most deadly members of the Scarlet Furies considers you a suitable gang leader. That said, I think her involvement with you is entirely suspect. I would wager good money the voices of Neratis listening through her, or perhaps seeing what she sees.
Alright, what about Lantry?
Probably the only word thief I haven't wanted to dismember. Him, I'd merely play with an ice knife.
Ooh, word thief. I like that. One of the groups of one of the swears in my Third Sign universe, the Chronicle of Clune, is Cell Thief, which is a term for a merchant. But word thief, I like that. The Wandering Scholar thing seems an act. It's always an act with the sages, always pretending to know less than they really do. I'm sure he's got 1,000 reasons for why he's not like them or more trustworthy than the rest, but I know his type, and so I don't trust him. Oh, that's high praise coming from you. I'm going to take this staff and repeatedly jam it into your backside until you prolapse. Ah, just like that. Balance is restored to all known existence. You had me worried there.
Ask away. What is it you need?
Done. All right. Cool. All right, I needed to do that. So, now I just need to find out who the hell you are. Fatebinder, come take a look. I've got a Beastman cub in here. I doubt that very much. I didn't mean anything by it, I promise. I just wanted to see how many rings you had so I could adjust my prices accordingly. Revo's at your service. I've come into possession of some items that might be of interest. Are these stolen? No. No in the sense that they aren't stolen, but yes in the sense that I'm not entirely licensed. Among other things, Cairo's laws of quota and sharing meticulously regulates tradable goods. Permits are issued to deserving merchants on an annual basis, but their allowances circulate by design known only to Kairos and Tunin. A former wool peddler may be restricted to selling only copper, and the subsequent year trade fresh vegetables. But wait! Before you throw me into Tunin's dungeon or worse, consider this. We aren't standing on Tyranny. We're standing high above any citizen who is subject to the Overlord's law, and this place couldn't possibly be subject to the same rules that govern down there. Don't presume to understand Kairos' will. I need to consider the legalities. In the meantime, I'll take a look at your goods. Alright, here we go. Ooh, look at this stuff. Oh, snap. Oh, man. We got camping supplies. We got Fatebinder armor. Oh, man. Alright, okay. We got to sell some stuff, people. We have got to sell some stuff. No. 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 Nope. Nope. Alright. We're selling some stuff. We have got to sell us some stuff. Okay, that's good to know, actually, Terry. I haven't loved any armor yet, to be honest with you, but well, we'll see. Yeah, I agree with Fisher that this is a more tight story. I find this a more compelling story, quite frankly, than Pillars, but that's partly because Pillars is kind of all over the place, and I think that relates to that tightness that we were talking about before. I think this is a more tightly written story. That. No. Nope. No. No. Nope. I'm not that poor. I just haven't sold anything. No more. There we go. I have a lot of stuff to sell. A lot of stuff to sell, as you can see. Some jasper, some topaz, some garnet, some agate, some chalso whatchamacallit, broken helmet, iron brand. I'll keep the spiral notebook. Broken helmet, broken armor, broken skull mask, staff fragment, broken spear, bent bronze sword, and rusted iron sword. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Alright, now we got us some money, people. Now we have got us some money. Alright, let's do it up. So, let's see. Fatebinder's shield. Superior. It's actually not that great. This is better. Okay, let's, yeah, this is definitely better. Alright, let's get that, for him. Alright. Oh, that's better, alright. Superior, what's the difference? Oh, it just looks different? Cloth? Leather? Leather. I like the look of this. So we're going to get that. Magician's Mantle, I think, would be for him. Oh, he's already got one, so never mind. Let's go with that. Okay, Fatebinder of Tuning Gloves. We're made people now. Okay, let's see. Gloves. Go with that. Tune in head wrap. Now let's go with the helm or the hood. All damage increased by 20%. Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, I'm going to keep that for now. Okay. Now, while we're at it, I want to get those sigils, and then there were sigils down here. Sigil, 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 sigil. Oh, it's too much. I can't afford all that. Oh, crap. All right, well. Don't have enough lore, so let's get rid of that then. Also don't have enough lore. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. What do you mean? All of it? No, not all of it. Not all of it. Let's see if there's anything else I can sell. Yeah, the thing about okay. All right. And one of these sigils. Okay. The thing about the divinity thing is I never really. Okay. Good. To be honest, I've never really liked I never really liked the story that much. Okay, we're about to sell a bunch of stuff too. Oh, yeah. All right, we're putting this together. Yeah. Ha ha ha. What is up? Okay, done. Let me talk to her again. So, I didn't love. Okay, I didn't love Divinity as far as the world was concerned, and there were some tactical things. I was doing a co-op run of that on my channel, and there were parts of it that frustrated the hell out of me. In terms of what you were able to sort of sell and not sell, what you were able to. Stuff that you should have been able to target that you did or did not target and stuff like that. Okay. Cool. Alright. Lysandra, are you a trainer? Sage's magic feels like a ball of ice. It's chill working up your arms and dispersing in your shoulders. Unpleasant if not harmful. Brave but foolish. I might have sheared your tissue away so fast that your skeleton would stand there for a full 10 seconds before you realized you were dead. Lysandra, at your service. I trained as a sage at the Vellum Citadel, but those days are behind me for obvious reasons. Okay, how about a lecture? Ah, here we go. So, skill training. Okay. Okay. Should be another sort of one. Shadowrun. If it were me, I would definitely choose Shadowrun, but I thought Shadowrun was exceptional. So I like the Harebrained Schemes guys are great. I'm big fans of Mitch and the crew over there. So they are friends of my channel, friends of me. I like them a lot, and Shadowrun I think is great. So if it were me, Shadowrun by a mile. I've actually interviewed the writer for Divinity Original Sin, one of the writers, Sarah Bayless. I thought there were cool parts of Original Sin, but it just didn't grab me. Okay, so that's good. So that's good to go. Now we can move on, guys. So let's see what we've got. We've got two choices. We've got Stirring Visions. Travel there, find a way to gain access to the Spire, and the Voice of Kairos. So we've got to talk to Tunin. Alright, well, let's see what we can do. Sunset Spire or the Bastard City. So the question is, do I go and I pick up the second spire, or do I go to the second spire, or do I talk to Tunin? That's the question. Do I go to deal with Tunin? See you, Inquisitor. Hey, Centaurea, yeah. So Bastard City, or do I go to Sunset Spire? It's a cool map. Look at this thing. It's freaking awesome. Here's the Archons. Sweet. Okay. Man, this is a tough call. Whether to go to pick up another Spire, or whether to talk to Tunin. I probably should go to Tunin. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I was leaning towards going to Tunin anyway. 2 days, 12 hours. All right, let's do it. Okay, that's cool then. It's odd that they give me an opportunity, though, like access to it. Hold on, my seat cushion is messed up. Darn it, seat cushion. Too much story. What? There's never too much story. Okay. Here we go. Tune-in time. Let's save this. Tunin's Court. Noble, 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 noble. Kairos' standard, an imposing sight for both conquered and unconquered alike. This well-dressed older woman stands apart from the milling crowds of nobles. She stares off into the distance, oblivious to your approach, until you're right in front of her. Lady stands apart and stares along into the distance. There's only so much tune-on she can take. She sees the family court now, looming in the headlights. The pain upstairs, it makes her eyeballs ache. Many games away. Here. Oh, greetings. Anda Lucretius, formerly of Thistleholm. You have the look of someone who belongs here. A fate binder, no doubt. Do you need something from me? What are all these nobles doing in Tunin's court? Trying to look brave, I warrant. But if you crane an ear to any of their conversations, you'll hear a different tale. 3 years since Tunin set up shop in the Bastard City. We're still getting used to our new masters and figuring out what we can and can't ask of them. These are smart, ring-plenty folk. The way they approach Tunin, you'd think they were raised under a tyrant's lash. Some have come to settle a grievance, others to pledge fealty. I've been standing around long enough to know that the adjudicator doesn't care for empty gestures. How has the Bastard City fared since the conquest? The armies claimed the city in a quieter, more organized manner than I might have expected. I can credit them that much, to be sure. We've suffered our share of hardships, but it seems that Kairos wants us alive. That's a more generous outcome than some of us were led to believe. Okay, what brings a noble like yourself to Tunin's court? Like the rest of the frightened inbreds here, I came to see Tunin and ask him to right a wrong. My manor was destroyed during the conquest. I told the adjudicator my woes, but we didn't exactly see eye to eye. Tell me of yourself. I'm the daughter of a noble house. We were wealthy enough to live in the city, but our means beyond that were limited. My mother dealt in fish, textiles, and bronze. By the time I inherited, the business was taking care of itself. Of course, all of that has changed. Thistleholm is no more, and my name has none of its former weight. Even if we were still in business, Kairos' laws would stifle our trading rights. Perhaps it's better this way. What is Thistleholm? It was my family's ancestral hall. The oldest stones dated back to the years when the bastard city was not but a dozen roofs and wagons clustering for warmth. Compared to the houses of the great lords, it was nothing special. Age had softened the wood, and its queer placement in the warehouse district set it apart from the finer grounds where lords and ladies strolled for amusement. It was a mess, but our mess all the same. Yeah, fish tech, right? I would invite you over for tea, something stronger even, but it would only disappoint. You'll find naught there but a gaping hole. What happened? Collateral damage happened. When the adjudicator cast his judgment on the bastard city, he destroyed the districts of the corrupt merchant kings, their manors, their counting houses, and yes, their warehouses. Age, dignified Thistleholm collapsed as a massive sinkhole opened under her foundation. The bastard city's laws may not have been perfect by Kairos' standards, but my family followed them with respect, and never took a copper ring more than we deserved. I can't help but feel that my estate was not the criminal Tunin had in mind during his sentencing. So what are you going to do next? That's the question, isn't it? I appealed to the adjudicator, thinking he would see reason. After considering my case for all of 8 seconds, he awarded me a belt of rings and a plot of land on the outskirts of the city. Tunin told me to build anew and start farming. Farming? Can you believe that? It's not even that I'm opposed to the labor, but we're in a war. I can't have the Scarlet Corps breathing down my neck, raiding my crops, and Kairos knows what else. Kairos' laws are made to serve the masses, not the individual. I can appreciate that, especially when there's suffering or corruption on a grand scale. It all makes sense on parchment, doesn't it? I come from a long line of smart, ring-savvy merchants, but even I can't reconcile Tunin's justice with Kairos' law. There's something wrong about it all. Maybe Tunin knows something I don't, or maybe... What do you mean? People come here for justice. They usually get a version of it, but it's Tunin's version, not theirs. Half of the time, they don't even get what they wanted out of a ruling in their favor. The deed to a farm, for instance. Not to put my own ignorance on display, but if more people knew how Kairos' laws worked, they might not come here seeking a ruling at all, even a fair one. Tunin is a servant of law, but he's the Overlord's vassal as much as any of us. Sometimes it seems like he uses his position to twist everything in the Empire's favor. We're just pieces on a board, and he can move us wherever the law justifies that we stand. I can only endeavor to bring true justice to the Tears. At least one of Kairos' agents has their heart in it. I'm still holding out hope that the Tears are left standing after this war, and that Kairos' peace makes something great of us. A lady can hope, can't she? Farewell, Fatebinder. Be well. Okay, interesting. Bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bow. Court officer. Alright, what do you have to say? Hello, people.
You call yourselves officers of Kairos' army, but your conduct falls short of my expectations. The court finds your accounts of Vendrian's well lacking, rife with misdirection and fallacy, fouled with baseless accusation.
What's going on here?
Sounds like the armies have been tripping over their feet to pass the blame to someone else. Careful it doesn't end up in your lap.
Fatebinder, you arrived just in time. The representatives of the Vendrian's well siege have finished their testimony, and I cross-examine. Any closing statements, Lieutenant?
Your Honor, I have relayed the events as I experienced them. You can well imagine why my version conflicts with his. On my honor and on that of the great general, I would sooner snap my sword than perjure myself before you, Archon. Oh, so you imply that falsehood comes easier to my lips than yours? You're a fool if you believe the Archon of Justice won't see through your lies because the disfavored think themselves better than an honest gang.
Silence. The contradictions in your statements will be examined.
Hey, Bach.
Falsities threshed from truths. If we find you have perjured yourselves, Bled and Mark will see to your fate. Fatebinder, we will start with the matter of the Archons. Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat have declared war upon each other. In addition to violating Kairos' peace, they have thrown the conquest of the Tears into disarray. By all accounts, these hostilities began shortly after your arrival. Tell us what transpired.
The Voices of Nerat may have killed Graven Ash, or son, or worse.
Could this be true? The senseless killing of a good Northman, especially the Archon's blood kin, is no small act of war. The Voices of Nerat would answer for this crime.
Clearly, the Fatebinder has spent too much time resolving the problems of others. He sees only controversy and intrigue. It's no wonder that we're worse off now than before he arrived. The Archons could not agree on who should lead the siege and descended into accusations of treachery. It seemed a mutual spat. The disfavored were more deserving of the honor. Our tactics and training outmatched the Vendrian Guard at every turn. What balderdash! The disfavored couldn't trip over a straw hut if they had a week to strategize. Our howling mob was better equipped to overwhelm the Vendrian Guard. Our recruits were ready to throw themselves at the enemy if only Ash and his legion would agree to a plan.
The Fatebinder presents testimony. I warn you both against
yes, it is Abak.
Speaking out of turn. Something more than a mere disagreement unraveled this campaign. But I will return to that in time.
Oh, no one unraveled the campaign at all, Tunin.
Let us speak of Ascension Hall. We have heard troubling accounts of your actions, including claims that you worked with the Oathbreakers known as the Vendrian Guard.
I took the Citadel for Kairos.
As you say. And yet that was not evident from your actions. All accounts claim that you sided with the Oathbreakers. This would be the very definition of working against the Overlord's wishes. Enlighten the court. How is this not treason?
If my actions were not true to Kairos' will, they would not have satisfied the Overlord's edict, big guy.
Continue.
The edict stated that Kairos' servants must claim Ascension Hall. The resolution of the edict proves my loyalty. Ha ha! What's up, Tunin? Trial this! For some reason, as this scene is going on, as he's having this scene, all I can think of is this. For some reason, the minute he said that, and all I could think of was this sound.
I will consider this testimony at length. The court thanks you for it. Is there
In the
anything
criminal
you wish
justice
to add
system,
at this time?
the people are represented by two...
Ah. Damn it, stupid cancel thing. I hate the cancel thing. There. Hold on one second, guys. Ding, ding! Okay. Sorry, guys. Let me zoom up here. I heard you like justice, so I justified my justice with justifying justice. Okay. I've told you all that I know.
Your testimony is accepted by the court. The statements of our guests raise questions in my mind. There is much about this campaign that has caused me to wonder.
Oh, and me too.
A shipment of iron weapons was short on arrival. Where coveted iron is concerned, I don't believe it to be a clerical error. One of my agents recovered this seal in Echo Call. It belongs to a merchant collective. Lethian's Crossing is teeming with their kind. If you would root out treachery, I would advise starting there. Petitioners, leave us. I would have a private audience with the Fatebinder. Ascend and join me. You will find the way opened.
Oh, damn. It's time for a private audience. Alright, I gotta speak with him. Gotta speak with that man privately. Okay, let's... Alright, let's see. Let's, lightning. Static charge. How long does it last, though? 45 seconds? Okay, wait. Do I have a way to increase this? What a drama queen. Ascend and join me. Let's see. Duration. Ah, okay. 56.3 seconds. Alright. This is annoying, because it means I have to go... Alright. Okay, so core sigil. Lightning. Expression. Material force. Duration. Alright. Alright, so he's got that. Cool. There we go. Going to the principal's office. Yeah, exactly. Alright, before I go there, I'm going to talk to these people. Fatebinder Rogalis. Fatebinder, you return. You look as if you have questions for me to untangle. Ask. I'm feeling generous. Tell me about some of the past Archons. No one is entirely sure how many Archons Kairos has killed, but I would guess it numbers several dozen or more based on the various histories I've been able to piece together. Where did you study when you were younger? I've been a ward of the court for as long as I've been aware. As a child, I demonstrated wholly perfect recall, and I absorbed all that Tunin and my tutors had to offer. I remember hating all the lectures and wishing I could learn at my pace. Funny how I envied the sages of the tiers, so they could spend their whole lives reading and never exhaust their library. Of course, now the Vellum Citadel is nothing more than a burning waste. What do you think about the other Fatebinders? We'll need to be more specific than that, I'm afraid. There is, on last count, slightly more than a handful of us. What's your opinion of the Fatebinder of War? Nunaval's keen, brash, and a hardy braggart with a fondness for bloodshed. He can be utterly unbearable at times. His justice is fair, even if he skews toward rather exacting and uncompromising punishments at times. Okay, what about the Fatebinder of Balance? Callio is the finest among us. Her discernment is beyond reproach, and she is perhaps Tunin's favorite. She has a mind for suspicion and observation that makes others uneasy. We who operate within the confines of the law have nothing to fear, of course. What's your opinion of me? Whatever it may have been, it is reduced of late. No matter why you lent your favor to the southern barbarians, it has cast you in the darkest suspicion. Be advised, Fatebinder. Your objectivity is in question. We'll be watching. Yeah, well, suck it. Can you tell me about the old walls and the Bane? With what should I start? Tell me about the old walls. I know, right, Terry? That was raw. I know, I didn't like that either. We know little enough about the ancient structures, save that they predate all historical record. The forbidding ruins crisscross the tiers and north alike centuries before we raised our cities. The only one old enough to guess is likely Kairos. Tell me about the Bane. The Bane are found in the old walls, but much of their defining qualities still escape me. They are creatures of smoke, claw, and fang. If you find yourself unfortunate enough to fight one, remember that spells are effective against them. Could grab the attention of others lurking near. Alright, about the tiers. The political entities of the tiers are essentially split between the Bastard Tier, the Younger Realms, and the Free Cities. Of which would you like to know? What can you tell me about the Bastard Tier? The Bastard Tier is the most northern of the tiers, and was the first to bow to Kairos' reign, though the knee they bent fell unwillingly. Kairos had his eye on the Bastard Tier for many years before he marched on our capital city. This is the hub of trade and commerce. Claim the markets, and the people will follow. Curious to know more about the Younger Realms. The Younger Realms sprawl the middle and southernmost tiers and can be catalogued as follows: Apex, Azure, Haven, and Stalwart. Azure was renowned for its exceptionally fertile land which fed the whole of the tiers. That was before Kairos' Edict of Stone blighted the land. Stalwart is also worth mention, for it comprises the whole of the southernmost tier, and proves the toughest and most defensible of the realms. It is often said that the other realms will not fall while Stalwart yet stands. The local army wages bitter war against the dishonored, though the Edict of Storms has cut off the best of their defenses. It's only a matter of time before Stalwart falls. I'd like to hear about the Free Cities. There are 3 free cities remaining: Last Harbor, Spiral's Maw, and Barris and Chains. The first and strongest of the free cities was the Setting Sun, which Kairos crushed in 429 with the Edict of Tumult. After that, the remaining free cities were quick to surrender. Previous question. Let's talk about the sages. I will not speak of the sages. They are no better than charlatans and cons, wholly selfish in their ill pursuit to hoard all knowledge from others. They are self-blinded by their own deceptions and clever manipulations. They alone cause their own undoing, and are solely to blame for the burning library, one of the most grievous of wrongs in the known histories, for which they can never be forgiven. Tell me how you really feel, though, man. Let's, don't hold back. All right, Fatebinder Callio. I'll save my last for you. What about you, Nonaval?
I'll not pretend to understand the strategic decisions you've made, but they're yours all the same. Even so, I'm curious about your travels in the tiers. Come, let us speak freely.
How were you singled out to become a Fatebinder?
I cannot speak for the other Fatebinders, but I joined the court when I was yet still a boy and impetuous beyond reason. I had been imprisoned with a death sentence for the crime of desecrating corpses. It was nothing so exciting as you're no doubt imagining. I was merely burning corpses that awaited burial. Before the local authority could see me to the gallows, the adjudicator claimed me a great talent waiting to be realized, needing only to be steered.
Why burn the bodies?
Corpses piling in the streets spread plague faster than the filthiest of rats. I was but 10 and a weak fighter. I did what I could for my homeland.
Why was it a crime?
There was a time when even the Northmen were of superstitious stock. A time before Kairos brought reason to the realms. The people of my city believed that without proper rites, I was cheating our fallen warriors from returning to the land.
It's a good thing Tunin spared you.
As I have said, the adjudicator saw within me something of rare value, as is true for us all. You as well were chosen for our great court, for which I am grateful. As the Fatebinder of War, I rely heavily on your talents.
Let's talk about something else.
By all means, you're free to pick my mind with enthusiasm.
I'm curious about Tunin's masks.
They can be rather unsettling, can't they? Even to one such as me. But I can assure you, the innocent need not fear their objective, emotionless gaze. What of the adjudicator's mask specifically would you like to know?
I want to know about the Silent Face.
The Silent Face is the face that Tuna shows to us now, and for that we are fortunate beyond belief. The Silent Face is a patient face. A face for listening as Tunin presides over all matters brought to the court, taking great pains to ensure all sides of an issue are heard. My life for ire. For Adun.
I want to know about the Face of Resolve.
Tunin's last known donning of the Face of Resolve was the moment he judged and called ruin to half the districts in the bastard city. Since then, he's ruled our northern tier justly, calmly, and with efficient diplomacy.
I want to know about the Face that is no more.
Tunin is said to have worn a third mask in eons past. I've heard rumor that the face displeased Kairos and thus was destroyed, as happens to all persons and objects that displease our overlord.
You ever seen Tunin change his masks?
In the way that you and I would change our raiment? No, not as such. And yet I have seen the masks shift. They switch without the adjudicator or anyone so much as laying a hand on them. It's not something you can watch unfold. After a time, you merely realize it's already happened. There's work enough for the court that we shouldn't occupy ourselves wandering over mysteries.
Let me ask about something else. Could you remind me of the history and origin of the Fatebinders?
We are a relatively young order, though we have spanned these past 2 centuries. While the voices of Nerat and Graven Ash need armies to execute their will, Tunin wields but a modest court of vassals. We exist as the extension of his law. There is no place in all of Tyranny beyond our judgment.
Tell me more about Kairos' armies, our allies.
Ah yes, with friends like these, our work is often self-explanatory. We need more Vespine gas.
Scarlet Chorus.
Scarlet Chorus soldiers hail from every corner of every realm. As the chorus marches, it conscripts indiscriminately from those it has conquered to replenish its ranks. There's no continuity of command in the chorus. Narat allows, encourages even, the strong to challenge their leaders. But the chorus has numbers, and brute force is almost always a viable solution, much as Rogalis insists otherwise. Besides, the Scarlet Chorus draws strength from the multitudes it swallows. Its blood chanters have taken knowledge from various tiers mystics, and many of the chorus' best soldiers were grown here in the south.
What about the disfavored?
We require additional pylons. The disfavored are the iron tip of Kairos' great phalanx. Armed with the best weapons, the most comprehensive training, and led by the brilliant Graven Ash, the dishonored have no equals in open battle. A legion has a saying, Graven Ash protects, and it's no empty boast. The Archon of War is able to lend his will and strength to his soldiers and give them endurance beyond human limits. I have great respect for the disfavored, but I know where I stand with them. They are a very close-knit band, all of them from northern families, many of them related to each other. But considering our role in the great hierarchy, I can't fault General Ash for being selective.
I claim the spire at Vendrian's Well.
So the court's whispers are true. Someday I would like to witness for myself this tower that has risen above the realms like a blade thrust into the sky.
I would hear of your past victories in the war, of recent events.
Have you not tired of my tales, Coronel Elleron? I do admit I never tire of telling them. Very well then. Let me champion the feats of my conquest. Let the glory of Kairos rain fall on any ears that would hear of it. If you could have but come with me, my brother, on my latest mission to Haven, it was a rousing venture, rife with bloodshed and intrigue. Inspired by the Vendrian Guard, House Ducenius had a change of heart regarding her loyalties to the Overlord. So I rode without rest on rumors that they had fled to Ardent. Several days of hounding passed before I was able to locate them and rend their bellies. By my blade, the blood that once ruled Haven ran red in her streets.
Farewell. I like that dude. His voice will destroy me over time, but... Yeah, Abak. Planescape Torment, I definitely feel some similarities there as well, yeah. Alright, Callio.
Regards, Coronel Elleron. You look as if you need something. What can I do for you?
Has anything happened while I was away?
There have been whispers that Cairn grew disloyal to Graven Ash's command during the campaign in Azure. I took up the mantle of investigation near Plainsgate, and judging the rumors to be true, dispatched Cairn by proclaiming Kairos' Edict of Stone. The very earth turned against the traitorous Archon as the region split asunder in righteous judgment.
You seem to know much of my actions. Have you been spying on me?
Don't act so surprised. It's my duty to ensure that those who operate under the Adjudicator's name adhere to the spirit of his law, if not the very letter. And those who don't will be dealt with, swiftly and efficiently, at the point of Bladenmark's blade. Of course, that's assuming I don't dispatch them at first. I take my duty seriously, and I'm very, very good at it.
How have you occupied your time in the Bastard City?
Tunin sends me on assignments here and there. I settle disputes between the locals when the Adjudicator is otherwise occupied. Everything from trade disagreements to pushing chorus squatters out of basements. Real rewarding work. The glory of war is not an honor reserved for the likes of us. We're the fish swimming in Tunin's wake, picking up scraps along the way. We're rather large and imposing compared to the bottom feeders of the tiers, but fish all the same.
I'd like to know more about Tunin. Tunin is our Overlord's fair and exacting adjudicator. He speaks with the voice of Kairos' law, and his word is judgment. All of this and more you can learn by asking him yourself. Go on. Or does he intimidate you still? I jest, of course. I have some concerns about the war. You are free to share them in my confidence. Our armies squabble at each other's throats. Divided, we cannot win. I'm less concerned about the armies than the Archons themselves. There can be no order when mountains collide. Who would you see as champion? Neither. They're both at fault and equally inept. And then who would lead our advances or be left to deliver Kairos' peace? Would you wear this responsibility as a crown upon your head? me find it a heavy burden to bear. Okay, farewell. Yeah, she's creepy. Creepy! Creepy, creepy, creeper.
Let's be off.
Okay. Alright, guys. How's it going? I'd immolate you right where you stand if it weren't for Tunin breathing down our necks. Fatebinder. You're no stranger to Tunin's court, but I prefer to spend as little time here as possible. In spite of these closed walls, I feel strangely exposed. If you're ever feeling generous, feel free to send a few healthy Oathbreakers to the Voices. We can always use fodder for the front lines. Only if it doesn't cause too many problems with your new alliance. You'll make our time in the Tiers an interesting one, won't you? Of course you will. There's some good, like, creepy character design here. What's up, Sator? Alright, these guys will probably be happier with me. Theoretically. I am duty-bound to remain civil to you in this vaunted court, but don't push it, traitor. Well, snap. Fatebinder. I am ill at ease in this polished hall, but I admit that it's a reprieve from the battlefield and training grounds. If Ash needs me to stay here and represent his interests throughout the occupation, then I'll be up to the task. Can't be worse than our days in Lethian's Crossing. Joking aside, you were generous to grant the disfavored control over the city. Even the Iron Legion needs a break from the front every once in a while. Okay, well that went well. That should be next week, Disculty. I think Tuesday. Exactly, Zator. Alright. Time to chat with our boy Tunin. Alright. Put your thinking caps on, people. We gotta be careful with this dude. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how well I'll do, but I'll give it the good college try, right, Disculty?
This civil war, this feud, is an insult to Kairos' peace. It should not have taken the better part of a year to silence the last vestiges of the Oathbreakers.
I agree, Your Honor.
Our allies squabble while our enemies regroup. It falls upon the court to measure the extent of the damage, and to execute the agents of disorder. I suspect that treachery, negligence, disunity, and greed have infected one or both of our esteemed allies. Until you are instructed otherwise, this matter is the court's primary focus.
Oh, no problem.
Graven Ash and the Voices of Nerat must be examined in close detail. You are charged with observing the Archons and presenting your case that one of them has wrought chaos and disorder upon the Tiers.
Could they both be guilty?
It's possible, but the momentum of the conquest up to this point suggests otherwise. The failure at Vendrian's Well implies a coordinated will behind the chaos.
What I love is that as I'm talking to him, the coordinated will is me. So I'm like, oh, yes, is it possible that they're all sort of guilty? It's possible, but doubtful. Probably one person was responsible. I'm like, oh, yes, my lord. Who would be responsible for that? That's terrible. I don't, can't imagine.
Always, you will be held accountable for what you do in the court's name. But you are free to conduct your investigation in the manner of your choosing. You must expect lies, misdirection, and manipulation. Suffer not such obstructions of justice.
You know, I really like the idea of having a guy whose job it is to basically judge and adjudicate. And I actually have a book that I'm working on, that I've been working on. At the moment, it's at the back burner because I'm having to work on my series that's in progress that I have under contract for. But it's a book called Sunrise and Empire, where one of the main characters is basically, he's called a warden, and his basic job is to sort of act as kind of a person who brings justice to people. He's much more physical about it, like, but he has some of these qualities. This kind of stuff, I dig this stuff. I like it.
At first, we were not amused by your alliance with the Tiersmen, but there is a logic, a pragmatism to the situation that we are willing to entertain. You deputized our enemies to bring order out of chaos.
Oh yeah, that's exactly why I did it.
So long as you keep them on a tight leash, we will permit this union to continue under your auspices. The opportunity to bring peace through collaboration rather than warfare is one we shouldn't ignore. But if these Oathbreakers trust you, then take advantage of the connection. If indeed Graven Ash or the voices of Nerat conspire with our enemies, this would explain much of the events in Vendrian's Well and the feud ignited therein.
I will speak with them and learn what they know.
Be careful that you don't invite them too closely into your confidence. I would not empower the rabble by sending a servant of the court to do their bidding. Ensure that your objectives come first in all things. You see the nobles milling about this court. You hear the anxiety and uncertainty of a conquered people. Day and night I audience declarations of fealty to curry favor. What you don't see are the dungeons beneath the court, and the hundreds of tearsmen who strained against Kairos' rule. I warrant that your Oathbreaker allies know a few of them, whether by blood or by allegiance. Let it be known that their lives are forfeit to the court's mercy, and any action meant to shatter what order we have established will be met with the swiftest reprisal. Blood will flow through these halls. Is that clear?
Abundantly clear, Your Honor.
I'm glad we understand each other. Be sure your new friends understand as well. Do not toy with the locals. Subjugate them if they will serve. Destroy them if they have exhausted their usefulness. I will not permit them to vanish into the tears, there to gather strength with renewed defiance for the Overlord. Your fellow Fatebinders have been busy acting as my eyes and ears. I have a few leads for you to follow. You should, of course, speak with your brothers and sisters of the court if you need further counsel. The disfavored have made use of the Sage's network of dovecotes and messenger birds as they come under capture. I've heard multiple claims of strategic communications gone missing. The Sages are broken, their citadel in flames, but they were not slaughtered to the last. Some of their numbers still congregate around the smoking husk of their burning library. If they have been reading disfavored communications, learn what they learned, then execute them.
Damn.
The Oathbreakers were reported to be using iron armaments, more than they might acquire from looting what few disfavored they killed. Any iron in the tiers not rusted through was made by forge-bound hands in Lethian's Crossing. Between craftsman and quartermaster, someone let iron fall into enemy hands. Investigate this matter and bring the thieves to justice. There is a final matter to discuss. A sensitive topic.
Oh, I wouldn't say it was a surprise. It's just, you know, I like the way he's rendered. He's a cool character. What concerns the court, Your Honor?
In spite of the many shortcomings at Vendrian's Well, you managed to make a name for yourself. You proclaimed an Edict of Kairos, resolved its demanding conditions, and ascended the mountain spire. Any one of these feats would be worthy of recognition by the highest authority. You managed to accomplish 3.
I was only doing my job, Your Honor.
Your sense of obligation to your role is admirable, but modesty will not recommend you to the task ahead. Whether by design or by accident, you have captured the attention of Kairos' army and the local tiersmen alike. This is no small opportunity, and the court charges you with exploiting your new standing to its fullest potential. You have a title in our hierarchy. However, it's a little-known secret that one's standing in the world is determined by their infamy, their deeds, and how they come to be known. Mind this notion as you bring justice to this lawless frontier. There may come a time when your deeds speak for you louder than any title.
What are you getting at?
If your killing spree in the bastard city is any indication, you are no stranger to spreading infamy already. Whatever you did to capture the attention of the masses at Vendrian's Well, I would encourage you to do so again.
Understood. I will be known as a champion of justice.
Good. It falls to us to set a new standard for these southern barbarians. You are dismissed. Should the court have need of your presence, you will receive word. Go forth and do my bidding, and bring glory and honor to the tears in Kairos' name.
Damn, he's just like, wham! You have been removed from the court. I said taken out. Don't leave until I'm done talking to you. Another thing I want to say, if you could get me some tuna on rye. Damn, man. I guess that went well. Okay. So, any evidence of negligence, incompetence, or outright treason? Look at this. I have, like, no evidence against Graven Ash. Voices Nerat, voices Nerat, voices Nerat. Yeah, I mean, the voices of Nerat is probably the dude. Bow? What's up, Elias? Okay. So, we've got Forging Alliance. So, speak with Tarkus Ari. And Stirring Visions. Alright, so we should go back to Tarkus Ari next, I think. Alright, that went fairly well. I am almost level 6. We knock on the door. Ding ding! What is the sound effect from? It's from Law and Order. The ornament atop of the throne resembles Tunan's mask. It always seems to meet your gaze, regardless of where you're standing. Tunan is my favorite character so far in this game. Greetings. You return. It is gratifying to see that the war has not caused you to forget your roots. What is it you wish to know? Tell me about Kairos. Kairos is our overlord. She ushers us from the brink of chaos. She? Really? From the brink of chaos with a stern hand and gestures to the way of peace. We are only too eager to follow in her perfect example. How old is Kairos? By our reckoning, her age upon Tyranny is magnificent. Her true span defies measurement by our limited construct of time. It would be a waste to spend our few pitiable years attempting to solve that riddle of existence. Think of Kairos not as subject to beginnings or endings. Kairos is, and Kairos will ever be. What's your relationship to Kairos? She is my master, and I her dutiful pupil. Always there are two, the Sith Lord and the apprentice. No. In this respect, you and I are no different. I have the honor of Kairos' confidence. She trusts me to enact her law upon the boundless territory of her rule. I am only too grateful to serve. I am the voice of Kairos' will, the harbinger of her judgment, and the arm of her justice. Do you think Kairos' laws are fair? That is an irrelevant question. Kairos is law. It is the responsibility of fairness to conform to Kairos' definition of it, and anyone who believes otherwise is an agent of anarchy. Contemplate this as you deliver Kairos' peace to the frontier. If you fail to understand the importance and immutability of Kairos' law, then your work is but a perversion of justice. I couldn't help but notice that you refer to Kairos as a woman. Beware of that trajectory of thought. Save for her perfection, there is little about Kairos to which we could ascribe recognizable attributes. A power as distant and unknowable as the Overlord should transcend our petty dualities. Male, female, it makes no difference. Kairos is mother to us all. Ask you about something else. Ask, but be cautious with your time. The tears do not rest. Tell me about Bladen Mark. He is my headsman, and an assassin without equal. His official designation in Kairos' headquarters hierarchy is the Archon of Shadows, though I wonder that he ever considers himself aught but a slayer of the unjust. How did he earn his title? His work away from the court takes Bladen Mark to the dark places of the world. The Tears and Northern Empire alike. Over time, Shadows became his dominion. They cloak him, protect him, and even fight for him if the need arises. It is said that Bladen Mark can travel to any place where shadows are cast. Only he would know this for certain. Does Bladen Mark serve you alone? Your question is flawed. We are all servants of Kairos. The Archons are also agents of their own interests, those chosen few empowered to bring order to the world in accordance with Kairos' peace. At present, Bladen Mark is my vassal, and I his patron. The relationship is not so different from Graven Ash and Care in the Fallen Archon, or the vices of Narat and his songbird Siren. Such partnering and apprenticeships are common. They provide mutual benefit to the Archons involved, as well as a measure of oversight. Oh, really? Back to my other questions. You may proceed. I'm curious about you, Archon. Curiosity is not a trait that I encourage in my servants. Too often have I witnessed such activity leading down a path to lawlessness. However, if you feel that a better understanding of me will inform your work, then I will allow it. What would you know? Tell me about your rise to become adjudicator. Curb your ambitions, student. My path to this dais is not one that could be replicated under any circumstances. However, if your curiosity is determined, I will tell you my story. I wish to understand law and your execution of it. An admirable pursuit. You know much of Kairos' law and the maintenance of order already. My history may tell you something of how it can be used to win wars. I came into the world centuries ago, before the dream of a unified Northern Empire was fully realized. My home country lay far from the border of Kairos' realm, and our conquest was a matter of distant speculation. Decades before rumor of Kairos' approach grew in panicked volume, I familiarized myself with the intricacies of her law. It took me no time at all to realize the benefits of our inevitable subjugation. I took it upon myself to rise in my country's governance as an arbiter of law and drafter of covenants, building some notoriety for my execution of fair justice. As my influence and the trust of my people evolved, my decisions transcended to define future precedent. Go on. What my countrymen could not have surmised was that I had woven into our customs the very backbone of Kairos' law. I set the stage for the conquest of our floundering nation to join the Overlord's empire. By the time the Overlord's armies presented themselves and offered terms of surrender, we had adopted Kairos' peace in all but name. Our absorption into the Northern Empire was a matter of legal formality, negligible changes to our already beloved document of law. The people credited me as the architect of peace, and for a time called me Tunin the Fair. As my importance grew in their estimate, Kairos could not help but learn of the part I played in her bloodless victory. Kairos' law has a breadth of intricacies that is unapproachable to the masters, and by that I mean the masses. I was chosen to interpret and represent the Overlord's will across the Northern Empire and beyond, this time as adjudicator. It is my pride, my duty, my life. Hey, what's up, Dragonspear? What does it mean to be an Archon? I am a figure of power and significance, and under Kairos' mandate I am able to exercise my authority for the benefit of all. Had I not earned the Overlord's approval, I would not stand tall before you. Did you come into power yourself, or did Kairos foster your talents? An astute question. Doubtless I exhibited some spark of potential on my own, insignificant, though enough to accomplish deeds of note. Only under Kairos' tutelage have I grown to these heights. This is not going to go well. Could anyone become an Archon? Absolutely not. Only a precious few grow into this authority. Were it otherwise, Tyranny would descend into pandemonium. Of those few who rise into power, fewer still have the self-control to make lawful use of their talents. And of those who can, fewer still are deemed worthy of Kairos' approval. Is every Archon subservient to Kairos? All are subservient before Kairos, but I intuit your meaning. The Overlord takes great pains to recognize potential. Before an Archon comes into their power, they will have faced the harshest scrutiny by an agent of recruitment, if not Blade Mark himself. Those who are found worthy of incredible deeds but refuse to join their strength to the needs of the Empire are doomed to die. Those who wish to make a name for themselves are invited into the fold to serve and rule the needs of the Empire. That is the price of power in Kairos' hierarchy. Let's go back to my questions about you. Very well, Fatebinder. What would you know of me? What's the deal with your mask? This should be obvious to you by now, student. Since the answer is relevant to your duties, I will tolerate your ignorance and explain. The face is an uncontrollable warren of muscle spasms and reactionary contortions, sickening in its display of every petty bias. It cannot be trusted to audience or judge a dispute without navigating a gauntlet of subjectivity for all to witness. Okay, so this dude is basically Vega, is what we're talking about. Go on. In my early days, before the Northern Empire spread to my lands, I fashioned the mask of listening out of stern, uncaring wood. This expression of enduring patience hearkens the testimony of my petitioners, taking in all evidence before weighing matters in their due course. Later in my career, Kairos herself gifted me the Mask of Resolve. You will find it almost identical to the mask of listening, save for the brow furrowed in contemplation and weighed down by the burden of judgment. This is the face that dispenses law, often the most exacting and unforgiving sort. I wore it when I brought Kairos' devastating judgment to the bastard city, and doubtless I will wear it again. Oh man, lore 63. This isn't going to go well here. What do you look like under the masks? Let's return to the other ones. Did you come up with the Office of Fatebinders? Indirectly, yes. Just as I am the representative of Kairos' law across Tyranny, you are the face of my judgment for the people. I took inspiration from the Overlord's example, as we all should. The people need an approachable face to settle their grievances, and I am not available to adjudicate on every sharecropper's dispute. The Fatebinders were an inevitable solution. Why is curiosity such a problem? Because my vassals are not selected for their independence of thought. You are an agent of law, the execution of which falls within strict confines. Your intellect may aid the tasks ahead of you, but your unwavering obedience is of greater value to me. Don't you want me to interpret Kairos' law to fit any circumstance? Naturally, but take care not to let your intellect veer you from the straightforward path. I have seen it happen, and lost more than one pupil who thought themselves above their station, convinced that they knew better. What happened to those pupils? Anyone who oversteps their bounds is given the opportunity to amend their ways. Those who fail to heed my warnings show contempt for Kairos' peace, and are treated accordingly. The purpose of law is to set the standard for others. Though I am generous with the freedom I offer to Fatebinders, you are still inextricably tied to Kairos' law. Straining that tether to a breaking point will reflect poorly upon you. Back to my previous questions. I wish to speak about matters of law. Then you are well situated, for my court is the legal heart of this corrupt and uncivilized realm. What matters draw your curiosity? You're already well versed in Kairos' laws, but I'm happy to discuss the particulars. I wish to discuss Kairos' peace. The cornerstone of our wartime efforts, of course. Kairos' peace guarantees all willing supplicants under the Overlord's authority a place in a world. The exact wording of the bylaw is, your life is not yours to discard. The Overlord has plans for you. This extends to several spheres of influence. Among others, it grants protection to enemies who surrender in a time of war, and it forbids suicide. To dispense with the Overlord's vassal and property is prohibited. Remind me how the Overlord's name may be used. It is not forbidden to cross one's tongue with Kairos' name, but it behooves one to use caution and respect. The Overlord's name is not yours to give, whether to progeny, product, location, or abstraction. Slander of the Overlord is punishable by death. There is only one Kairos, and her name is safeguarded. No one may say Kairos and have it obfuscated by a second meaning. Neither will her name be associated to trivialities. A gambler will not attribute his fortune to Kairos' luck, or his misfortune to Kairos' scorn. Such an association lowers the Overlord in the public estimate, and is rightly considered slander most foul. Let's discuss the Old Walls. I know, right? The Old Walls are forbidden, as are their contents and their denizens. Owning any item from the Old Walls is considered trespass, regardless of how it came into your possession. Mind that in the course of your travels. As the Old Walls extend across much of the tiers and Northern Empire alike, Kairos permits her servants to pass only where she has sculpted the landscape to permit traverse. Under no circumstances are you to enter a breach in the Old Walls, even for a task as innocent as crossing to the other side. If these restrictions seem too severe, I would remind you that they are for the protection of Kairos' subjects. The Overlord has no desire to see harm needlessly inflicted upon her loyal followers. Also means he has no control over the Old Walls. Well, definitely, Ninth, yeah. Remind me of the Magician's Folly. Practitioners of the arcane arts must be sanctioned by one of Kairos' guilds, such as the Blood Chanters or Forge-bound. Rogue magicians with a tenuous grasp of unknown powers will not be tolerated. A sanctioned mage whose spellcasting causes damage to life or property is lawfully deemed innocent. As long as they practice their art in the service of Kairos, all is forgiven. Speak of quotas and sharing. The harvest blooms and blights by the will of Kairos. In times of lean, you will be fed. In times of wealth, you will feed others. This law is a sizable category unto itself, serving many needs at once, trade and tax being only two examples. The broadest intent of the law is to empower Kairos' subjects to care for their neighbor and expect care in return. You might take note of the law's application to trade. A merchant's right to peddle their wares is defined by permits granted annually. The recent regional authority has the right to decide if a merchant sells cabbage one year and sandals the next. Anyone breaking through their restrictions is subject to immediate forfeiture of all assets. You need not concern yourself over the nuances, at least until they apply to this contested realm in a time of peace. Curious about the restriction on forbidden knowledge. Kairos herself sets the standards of what can and cannot be known. These restrictions are rarely enforced, but they're worth taking into account. During the war, for example, Kairos deemed the knowledge of the Vellum Citadel taboo. No one may possess the wisdom of that fallen repository save Kairos herself. Calling it all taboo seems a bit like overkill, but to play Kairos' advocate, the world would hardly be safer if all had access to the lore of making poisons, or the art of arming brigands in fine bronze. This is for the protection of her subjects. Before the coming of Kairos, during the ages of anarchy and discord, powerful knowledge and undeserving hands leveled empires without thought or mercy. Kairos has no desire to revisit those dark times. This will go over well. Am I beholden to these laws? That should not be in question. We are all subjects of Kairos. Her laws define and regulate our very way of life. With that said, as an agent of law, you are granted more leeway than a soldier or a citizen. You may find yourself compelled to commit morally questionable acts in the name of Kairos. If it serves the court's justice, much may be forgiven. If the court finds any of your actions suspect, we will summon you to answer for yourself. Your testimony will be heard and judgment rendered. You are exceedingly curious about the application of Kairos' law. I find it refreshing that you would seek my counsel, Fatebinder. Well, I mean, you're the man, so as Ten of Clubs says, Tunan, the man, the myth, the legend. Alright, I have no more questions. Then be on your way. Godspeed. Okay. Alright, well that was a lot right there, but I needed to get some information about Tunan. And now I've got it. Alright, time to head back and talk to our allies. What?
Welcome back, kid. Amusing as it would have been to watch the edict dropped, I guess I'm glad you lived.
Oh, Bladen Mark.
But to draw blood from your allies...
Let's see. Archon of the Elderly. Oh, Jesus. The wording of the edict was clear. They were committing fatal negligence against each other by not cooperating. I didn't write Kairos' rule, I just enforced it.
True enough. The disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus brought about their own demise. Those that live should be thanking you for your mercy. What has me curious is your use of the Tearsmen, the Oathbreakers of all people. You're content to cut down your allies, yet spare your enemy. Some would consider it an unusual choice.
I already explained this to the adjudicator. If I did anything illegal, he would have sentenced me.
Before you go and conspire with the locals too much, you and I need to have a chat.
Glare soundly.
Everyone's keeping an eye on you, because you did something nobody has done before. Got a guess as to what that might be?
I'm the first Fatebinder to awaken a spire of the old walls.
You're not wrong. That was definitely a shock. But I doubt it's the sole reason you made the tears tremble.
What's up, EA? How you doing, man? Oh, but that's what makes it good, though, EA. That's like the board game, man. You know you got a good board game when you got a huge box that's heavy with a bunch of pieces in it. That's how you know, right?
Proclaiming an edict isn't new. Neither is surviving or resolving the commandments of an edict. But you're the first to proclaim and resolve the very same edict, and it didn't kill you. In one fell swoop, you survived your second edict, resolved the very one you had proclaimed, and woke an arcane structure that had slept for several centuries.
Glares soundly.
I don't care what you do with the information, but you should know the danger you're in now that you've put yourself on the map.
Hey, Hilness, what's up, man?
If you want to drum up more support from the Tearsmen, being the binder that broke the Overlord's edict is a good opener for diplomacy. Not saying trusting them is the best course of action, but it's a better strategy than watching Ash and the voices muck around without consequences.
Thanks for the advice.
Let's be off.
Alright, so I got favor 2 with this guy. I wasn't expecting Kid, to be honest. He looks a little bit like a mix of, like, Blanca and Vega. That's funny, Fisher. Yeah, Ninth. I mean, it really, you know, it's sort of a homage to those games. Alright, let's head back to the Spire. I'm gonna go back here first. Let's do it. And then I got to deal with that other Spire as well, but... Oh, nice, Illness. How's the internet there? I assume it's as good as advertised? Yeah, I mean, I guess I know why they did it, but yeah. Oh, she might actually be down below, now that I think of it. Yeah, she might be... She might be down below. Maybe in Ascension Hall. Oh, Leonetta. I know the feeling. I have been there, indeed. The, oh my god, I'm out of diapers terror. Yes, I know it well. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying my playthrough of Tyranny. My name is Arvin Eleron. This is Pen and Pixels, my weekly show on GOG. Episode 59. We focus here on games that focus on story and narrative because I am an author myself and have a series currently out and another one that I'm working on that's a graphic novel series also. So I tend to focus a lot on that sort of stuff, and we are playing this because it hits all the buttons. Story, narrative, a lot of RPGs, stuff like that. If you like this, please make sure to follow the channel. Please sub to the channel in GOG if you can. And also check us out individually. A lot of us individually have our own individual channel, Patreons, and cool stuff like that. So please check us out individually, too. Fatebinder, welcome back. Our patrols have been chasing off stragglers from the valley, but otherwise, Vendrian's Well is almost quiet for the first time in ages. Considering what we've been through, it's a much-needed lull in violence. Fatebinder, must we suffer these fools and play their game of disobedience much longer? Patience, Barak. All this will serve us in the end. I am less certain that catering to the south can aid Ash or his mission to subjugate these lands, but I will follow your lead. Just see that you don't forget what's important. Man, Barak annoys me. Yeah, definitely. I hope you two are finished with your palaver on the side. We need to use this time to shore up our strength. If either of the Archons decided to attack us in earnest, we wouldn't last long. So now's the time to scrounge up whatever resources we can muster. You don't need resources, you need allies. In other words, a gang. You can win battles with a tightly knit group, but you need a gang to win a war. With the other regions of the tiers beset by Kairos' forces, we've all been spread too thin to help one another. We've long hoped to inspire others to rally to our cause, but after a while I just assumed that no one was coming. We tried to assemble a unified front at the gates of judgment, but our enemies were too strong, as you well remember. The disfavored have us outclassed, and the Scarlet Chorus outnumber us by tens of thousands. Yet we'll have no lasting peace while they infest the tiers. What do you propose? We came to invade. The generals took it for granted the tiersmen could never work together. If you want to demoralize the Archons, prove them wrong. We've had an ongoing wager at the School of Ink and Quill as to which would happen first. A decade of peace between the younger realms or beastmen taking flight. Most put their rings on the latter. I see your education in the court wasn't wasted. You propose we make an example of ourselves? If we could get the regions together and cooperating, there's little we couldn't accomplish. You're right. Historically, it hasn't been done, but now that folks have seen the price of not taking the threat of Kairos seriously. A coalition, then. It's madness, but it has potential. We won't know if we never try, right? You've already proven yourself better at organizing us than the queens and regents who couldn't defend the tiers at our full strength. But where to start? I can lead the Vendrian Guard from here, but we're in no position to branch out to the rest of the tiers just yet. What major settlements are intact and available to stand with us? Were I in your position, I would consider Lethian's Crossing. The settlement wasn't more than a commerce hub before the war, but it's grown quite a bit since the coming of Kairos. During the conquest, Tunin exploited the waterways to transport iron from the forges to the front lines of the war. Ever since then, refugee traffic and opportunities for trade have made the crossing more than it ever was or deserved to be. The settlers are caught between a constant battle with Kairos' occupying forces and the Bronze Brotherhood, a mercenary band who laid claim to the city during the conquest and wished to take it back. The Forge-bound are the real treasure of the crossing. I'm loath to trust mages, but their iron weapons are second to none, and the reason why the Overlord's armies are so well provisioned. We could get them to cooperate. It might be a challenge as they're under the auspices of the court, though technically so are you. It sounds like anything is possible. I only point out the crossing because, like Vendrian's well, it seems poised for someone to intercede and end the conflict. We could restock our weapons and provisions and maybe even garner some support for the locals. More importantly, it would seem that Zedenya, the forge-bound master, has been dispatched to the crossing under secret order. I know that you both serve the same Archon, and I can't imagine that makes you any more the acquaintance than anybody else, but perhaps by your example she may see alternatives to Kairos' rule. If she turns, her guild will follow. Don't the forge-bound work for the disfavored? They are one of the mage guilds recognized under Kairos' rule, and for the time being their weapons have gone to disfavored soldiers. I don't know if you ever heard whispers of this during the conquest, but the forge-bound aren't exactly pleased with their role in the war. They consider themselves artists, not mere weaponsmiths to be farmed into exhaustion. If any mage guild seeks autonomy from Kairos, it would be them. The Voices of Narat fancies himself an artist, too. I venture he confuses war from the canvas twice as often as any forge-bound. We're the Bronze Brotherhood, a band of wild mercenaries originally from the Free Cities. The Voices of Narat hired them to claim and hold Lethian's Crossing during the war. Like all armies, they wanted to keep what they conquered. Kairos' forces had other plans. They forced the Bronze Brotherhood out, but the mercenaries are too stubborn to slink off with their tails between their legs. They've been fighting to retake the crossing ever since. Sounds like Lethian's Crossing sounds like the best prospect. Stabilizing the area can help our cause. If you brought order to the crossing, it would go a long ways toward legitimizing your alliance and your intentions. You might not find everyone as quick to trust a Fatebinder in this part of the world. Until then, feel free to consider Ascension Hall your home base. If you gather voices to join the coalition, have them send a representative here where we can discuss our plans for the future. As far as the Forge-bound goes, use your best judgment. You'd find it easier to shout a spire down than steer a mage's loyalty. I doubt they'll help the likes of us so they can avoid it. The guilds have always been pretty comfortable under Kairos' rule. Okay. So, forging an alliance, siding with the Vendrian Guard, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, travel to Lethian's Crossing. So there's that. There's the spire. And there's the Trial of Archon. Okay. I'm thinking... I wonder if we can do the spire next. So I'm trying to decide if I should go take care of the spire next, because what I'm thinking is I want to be able, the more of these spires I have, the more power that I have. So I'd like to be able to do this, and then to be able to forge an alliance with Lethian's Crossing, and in the meantime, the Trial of Archons continues. But I'd like to start with this investigation of the spires. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's do it. A group of mercenaries, members of the Bronze Brotherhood, are blocking the road to Lethian's Crossing. Why, though? I don't want to go to Lethian yet. I want to check out the spire. I already took care of the Tunin situation. Alright, what the hell's going on here? Absolutely not. I've come through Ironhall Trail more times than I can remember. No one ever asked for a toll before, and I won't be paying one now. Oh, the spire's in Lethian's Crossing? Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going the right way. I didn't realize that. Hee hee. Fatebinder, surely you of all people can help me. My name is Aster, and I must get to Lethian's Crossing. I have goods to deliver. Tell this man I will not be paying a toll to him or anyone, and he's to let me through. Greetings, Fatebinder. I'm sorry you've been drawn into this. What you've stumbled into here is merely a conflict of the changing times. I'm Will of the Bronze Brotherhood. Ironhall Trail is under our protection, and anyone passing through must obey our rules. If this gentleman would like passage through our hand, a simple donation is required. These funds help our cause and keep Ironhall a safe place for all travelers. Clearly you both can see the value in that. And who exactly is keeping it safe? You standing there with your weapons at the ready against me? I'm naught but a traveling merchant. I have no money to spare, and I certainly pose no threat to anyone. Keep this area safe indeed. You're the only threat here. Fatebinder, please, talk some sense into this man. Here is payment for the merchant to pass unharmed. Thank you, Fatebinder. You've done a great deal of good today. And you, brute, move aside and let me pass. But of course. Though merchant, do be sure to have some rings of your own for your trip back. I doubt your friend here will be around to pay your way through these lands twice. Well, snap. So, a Fatebinder in our little corner of the world. Who'd have ever thought this would happen? Well, I appreciate your help dealing with that merchant. I'm afraid I can't let you pass until you've spoken with our leader, Ritomen. Personally, I thought he was crazy saying he'd be visiting Lethian's Crossing. Looks like I owe him a few rings. Not that there's a shortage of those out here. What can this humble servant of the Brotherhood do for you, Fatebinder? And don't ask me to let you through, because that isn't happening. This ridiculous piece of mercenary offal requires a lesson in pain and obedience. Allow me to teach him. Thanks, but I can handle this myself. If you don't feel like paying the toll, I can point you back the way you came. You need an idea of where to go, because I can't let you through. Who is Ritomen? Now there's a question with 100 answers. Simple one? He's the current leader of the Bronze Brotherhood. If you want to know anything more, I suggest you go find him and talk to him. I thought about punching him, but where can I find him? He's right there inspecting the corpse of some of Kairos' soldiers. He's bound to be in a good mood right now. All those dead bodies must be heaven for him. Please don't tell him I said that. Current leader? Well, it's not like leader of the Bronze Brotherhood is a lifelong calling. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Let's see, if someone wants to claim the current leader's authority for their own, they can do it at any time. Of course, that means a challenge of some sort, and that always ends with the death of one or more of the participants. Ritomen survived the night in the Old Walls. That was enough to prove to most of the Brotherhood that he was the right man for the job. Alright, I'll speak with him. I'll be counting the seconds until you return. Let's see. And here's the Fatebinder. I knew we'd see you, I was just wondering when. One trip to Lethian's Crossing wasn't enough, Governor? Throwing me out of my home wasn't sufficient? You here to disrupt my life some more? You aren't done. Doesn't really matter why you're here, I don't care. I have more important things to worry about. In case you've forgotten me already, my name is Ritomen. I'm First Brother, leader of the Bronze Brotherhood. But I'm sure you already know that. Couldn't help but see you over here talking to Will and that traveling merchant. Only here for a moment and already sticking your nose where it doesn't belong, aren't you? I don't appreciate others invading my territory, Fatebinder. I told him he had to speak to you, Ritomen. He wanted through, but I told him no. If you don't give me the signal, the Fatebinder isn't getting into Lethian's Crossing. No one will invade your territory. Watch yourself while you're a guest in my land. If you've come to stir up more trouble, we're well equipped and will not back down in the defense of what is rightfully ours. Welby and I might not always agree. Who the hell is Welby? But that's one point we see eye to eye on. If you step out of line, we will both correct you. You are not welcome here. But tell me what you want or leave. You would do well to watch your tone when speaking to a Fatebinder. I care not about Kairos' forces. I've already reaped the rewards of my loyalty, and I won't make that mistake again. You've taken my home, but I'll have it back. I won't cower when you raise your voice against me, lapdog. I am not welcome in your land. This is not your land anymore. Such arrogance is the precursor to a mighty fall, Fatebinder. I might not currently have control of Lethian's Crossing, but we both know possessions are fleeting. Lethian's Crossing is my home, and your imagined control over our lives doesn't change that fact. Alright, well, why are you charging travelers a toll to get through Ironhall Trail? I don't see how the affairs of the Brotherhood are your business, Fatebinder. Suffice it to say, the funds we received from our tolls helped us keep the lands around Lethian's Crossing safe. We're owed our dues, and we shall have them. Tell me about the Bronze Brotherhood. We're a grumble group with noble, long-held traditions on the side of right and honor. There's an injustice that needs to be rectified. We are called. Sounds like you're upstanding citizens. Yes, we are, Fatebinder. I'm glad someone finally sees us for what we are. I'm tired of people calling us mercenaries and sellswords. So we get paid for what we do. We need to live. I need to get to Lethian's Crossing. If I let you through, you must promise to behave. I have enough problems dealing with everyone else. I don't need the hassle. I don't need the hassle of keeping an eye on you, too. So watch yourself. I might not currently have control of my city, but I have eyes everywhere. If you stir up trouble, I'll know. Let the Fatebinder through. Do nothing to delay or accost this party, or your answer to me. Tell me about Welby. I had such high hopes for her as my first axe. The continued success of the Brotherhood should be the single most important goal for anyone who's a member. She seems to have forgotten her place. She's not the head of this band. I am. She doesn't stop on overreacting. I will have to replace overreaching. I'll have to replace her with someone who knows how to obey. Why is Lethian's Crossing so important to the Bronze Brotherhood? We're asked to do a job and we did it. Then what happens? You throw us out of our home. By all rights, that city is ours, and suddenly Kairos wants it. Well, I intend to get it back. Refuse to let this matter die. We protected the crossing for years and even ensured Kairos' forces could do business here when Narad asked us to. No, we did the job we were asked, and this land belongs to us. This land is my land. This land isn't your land. From California to the... This land belongs to me and me. I'm gathering an army. Would you consider standing with others against Kairos? Absolutely not. I placed my trust in others before and only received the back of the hand in return. Payment or no, I don't appreciate providing a service and being tossed aside. If they're not my brothers, they're not my friends. He's going to be mad about this, but you said you don't do it for money, but that's why you're fighting over Lethian's Crossing. I don't appreciate your tone or the implications of what you're saying, Fatebinder. This is a mere matter of principle. We performed a service and we were paid for that service. Don't try to glibly explain away a complex situation. This is our home. This is my home. I will have it, and no one else. Now, if all you came here was to do is insult me and mine, I would suggest you leave. Speak again soon. Certainly hope that isn't the case. You got Raytaman's permission to go, Fatebinder. So go. Well, that went spectacularly well. So Raytaman won't do it. I wonder if Welby becomes the leader of the Bronze Brotherhood, if she would forge this alliance with me. I do wonder a little bit about that.
Let's be off.
I bet if I could get Welby on my side. What about the land healness? What do you mean? This land was made for you and me. Okay. There we go. Sunset Spire. Alright. Here we are in Lethian's Crossing, where all the stuff goes down. Oh, that land is your land. That land is my land. How about there? Their land is their land. It is not my land because it's your land. I'm talking my land. There's a company called Land, or at least it's Land's End. This land was made for you and me. Break it down. Oh, what the hell is all this? Here we are, Lethian's Crossing. At long last. Whoa! The hell is the disfavored garrison doing here? Really? Oh, the disfavored has decided they're going to get mad at me, have they? You're so cute at that age. Okay.
At once.
Oh. Didn't work quite as well as I was hoping it would.
Heads up, we have company.
Well, I didn't remember that his favored being against me in general terms, though, I guess was the point. So...
You got it.
Okay. And let's...
I'll tear your skeleton out by your ass!
Okay, let's heal you up.
Flawless. Sorry about
Jeez, why is it taking so long to kill this guy?
Pay attention, kids. You might learn something.
You got it.
Take that.
Okay. You joined up with the rebels. Well, yeah. I guess. It's the fact that the court was so calm with me, but of course that's because the court is not that is favored. It's just interesting to see how, like, these guys are not... It's not just one big unified army, you know? They're, like, their own agendas and things, which is cool. I mean, that's one of the great things about the game, obviously.
Unstoppable!
I'll tear your skeleton out by your
Nice.
ass!
I'm always paying attention. Exactly. Okay, stone shield boots. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. That'll be good for you. Yeah, that's better, actually. Ooh, broken skull mask. Okay. Alright, let's equip those guys. Alright. Okay. There we go. And now, let's level up the character, shall we? Okay, maybe do more with lore. Or resolve. Do resolve on this one. Okay. Hey, Takanji, what's up, man? How you doing, Kanji? What's this? Food waffle. Nice. I dig it. Alright, what have we got with range here? We've got explosive missile. That's pretty awesome. Throne mastery. From the shadows. Headshot. No. So, does explosive missile work with javelins, does anybody know? Or is it only bows? I mean, I see this thing that says valid weapons, bows, and thrown weapons. So I assume that means that that counts javelins, right? So explosive missile would work with javelins, yes? I just want to make sure. Does anybody know? I assume that's the case, but it does? Okay. Okay, thanks, Escalante. All right. Okay, Garrison and Lethian's Crossing won't let you move through the settlement peacefully, right? So basically I'm in for a fight. Okay. Down this way. That's what I meant to do. Sorry, my organization I need to organize this up a little bit better, which I'm in the process of doing right now. Okay. Lovely. All right, good. All right, so these guys are not going to let me have this place with a fight. Without a fight, that's going to be on them. They are going to receive a fight, and it's not going to be a good one for them.
On it.
Due to the frequency of raids, all the bridges and ramps in Lethian's Crossing can be raised to provide safe places for settlers to hide. Oops. Damn it. Shh. There we go. Organization is for winners. There you go. Cast explosive missiles at the darkness. Exactly, Sparkly. Bronze bracers. That's better than anybody else's, so take all. Ooh, I actually think I was down a camping area, so that's good. Merchant tents are common sight in Lethian's Crossing. Okay. All right. Okay, and then static charge.
I'll take care of it.
And Titan's Touch. Surge of Glory. Okay.
Let's have it then. I will aid you.
Okay. And this. And let's see. Let's start this out with a bang.
I am a shield wall unto myself.
Nice. Awesome. That worked really well. Okay, Landry. Okay. Now, Landry, get the hell out of there. I did not engage the way I should have.
We can do this.
Good. Everybody engage him. Everybody engage him. Everybody, everyone engage him. Everyone engage him.
I'll take care.
Ah. Nice.
Afraid of death.
Who says you can't teach an old dog new trick?
For the
Okay, let's
I will aid you.
Speaking iron. Nice, he just leveled up. His wound is all set. Oh my damn. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. I should have another burning one up there.
You got it.
I did finish Oxenfree, yes. Yes, I did.
For the glory of Tyranny!
Interesting game, Oxenfree. Not perfect, but interesting.
Far worse.
Smashed to pieces.
There you go. Good stuff. What's up, Atero? Oh yeah, I've been streaming this for a few weeks, man. On this show, I think 4 or 5 weeks. John Helfer is a good friend of mine who's also in the Infinity and Beyond crew on my channel. Was the guy who wrote the guidebook for this, so I managed to have him on the channel, and it was good stuff. Okay, I obviously want to increase your spell strength. Let's see, preservation. I need 6. I don't have enough of those yet. Alright. Erase the record. It's kind of good to erase the record, because I can do that multiple times, I guess. Cooldown's 30 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty sweet, actually. Okay, there we go. I did like Oxenfree. There were... So, what I liked about Oxenfree, the sound design is amazing. The music was excellent. The art design was really cool. I thought the voice acting was really good. In fact, the voice acting is some of the voice acting that I've heard in a game for a while. Really, really good. I thought the premise of it was interesting. I thought on the sort of neutral side, the dialogue, some of it was good, some of it was forced. Some of it was like what smart people think smart teens talk like, which is not really what teenagers talk like nearly as much as they think they do. And some of the dialogue, therefore, felt forced to me. And there were parts of the game mechanics that I found... Like, the second half of the game, basically, all of a sudden, a bunch of information is made available, and you basically just have to run around from place to place to gather it if you really want that information to come out. And it's a little shaky to me in terms of how you handle things. But overall, I thought it was excellent. So I shouldn't say excellent. I thought it was good. I liked it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I would say like a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10
I'd have it no
is what
other
I would
way.
say. Okay. Harshion Bronze. Can I talk to... Can't talk to Harshion Bronze? Ooh, look at that.
You see what I see?
Do you see what I see? Frozen shackle. Ba 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 ba. When critically hit. Oh, so when you hit... Really? So when they hit you, you can actually blow up with frost? Aw, yeah. That is exactly what you need, my friend. You're already shackled by your armor already. I liked it, but I didn't love it, I guess I would say. Yeah, I don't know why that's not... I'm not sure why that's not working, Mortara. If you click on my affiliate link underneath, I have my affiliate link, which is down below the video window. You can click on that, and you should just add basically everything that comes after the question mark on. The question mark on, all of that is my affiliate link. So you can add it to anything that you want to buy on GOG, and I will get a little percentage of that. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I basically get a little commission for it. So that would be lovely. Me or any of the streamers, of course. First thing you hear is me singing. Depends on what we're singing here. Oh, I have to go around that way. Oh. All of a sudden, it all makes sense. Okay. Lower the bridge or force the winch. Now let's do that, because it's cool. I could force it with athletics anyway.
I'll stay downwind of our enemies.
River is commonly used by merchants bringing their wares to Lethian's Crossing. Okay. Okay, there's some of the bad guys. Sing us the song of your people. I'm about to take some power up in here. In Lethian's Crossing I will come near. Oh, those who will fight me and fail, all those with Vendrian's wail. Now I will buff all my party real strong. You will understand a wisdom for long. And that's why I'm making me buffed. I will know that I am all of that stuff. My rap skills, yeah. We need to have another one of those rap battles. We have not... It's been too long. It's too long since we've had a rap battle. There's something else I was going to do, I thought. Alright. Thank you. Alright. Let's see. Let's, have you... Explosive missile that right there. Let's have you burninating the countryside. And let's have you iron tolling.
We can do this!
Trouble is afoot.
Did I or did I not ask you? No.
Can't do that.
What do you mean I can't do that? Screw off. Oh, because I have to target somebody. I'm done. Kaboom! Get 8-bit to rap with me? Loop control. I am both honored and vaguely troubled by your your comments.
For the glory of Kairos!
Alright, this is I think a good time to use some death from above. Let's death from above it, shall we?
This weapon is entirely worthless.
I love that death from above. Alright. There we go. There's more where that came from.
Consider it done.
Hurry up. No, 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 no. Okay. A little alacrity, if you please, Landry. Thank you. Justice reigns from above. Okay. Let's see. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're gonna put this on you. You two, fight to the death. Okay, how about you, False Pit? Let's see. You burninate the countryside.
Consider it done.
Die!
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Okay. Alright, these guys are a little, these guys are definitely taking their time. Let's do that. Oh. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot. I'm gonna kill you with my spear. That's how the song goes, right? Clearly that's the way it is. Alright, you do that. You just keep fighting away. You explosive missile this guy. Haha! Kaboom! And the man goes boom. Get out the room. Get out the room. Okay. Can you please heal him? Fast.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Okay. Alright, and I really, really, really need you to take
Not
this
a
guy
problem,
down.
boss.
My armor feels light.
Yes, with the level up.
This weapon is entirely worthless.
Pay attention, kid.
Oh! Zap! Nice. As the last of the enemy soldiers dies, life returns to normal in Lethian's Crossing. Woot! That was the last set. That last little fight was a little harder than normal. Alright, now I can visit the forge. Sweet. Ooh, look at that. Wow. Iron guard gauntlets. Well, the problem is it would be great for Barrack, but... Oh, man. Well, that sucks. The guy that it would be great for, he can't freaking use. Let's take some iron ingots. Okay, cool. Alrighty. So, Barrack. Time to have you level up. Thinking I may give you a little more... Nah, I want you to do a little more damage. Although it's always tough, because with him, I'm always half thinking about health and stuff, because it's important. Okay, let's see. I need more points spent in that tree. Increases the defensive benefit from shields. Okay. Clash of Iron bolsters the strength of his nearby allies. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with another... I want to increase defensive benefit with shields. Okay. Let's see. Zdenya can be found in the Forgebound Foundry. Okay. And we got some... Oh, Disfavored's really pissed at me now. So, we wiped out the Disfavored garrison, so we get Undying Fatebinder. Passive. Once per combat, we gain a damage absorption shield for a short time if you fall to low health. It's right. It's right, I do. I like the fact that Wrath also gives you benefits. See you, Best Umph. Oh, really? Ness is nice. Yeah, you know, I feel like, from my understanding of it, Obsidian has done a decent job making games more or less available to people. So that making it available to people so people don't have that. It's not as difficult as it might otherwise be to run games, as compared to other games, Dishonored, that have that problem. No, I'm just kidding. Finally, Dishonored is fixed. It's working now. There you go. Exactly, Mortara. I have a Lenovo ThinkPad myself from work, a pretty solid one. So the problem though is that when I play games now,
no reason to
9 times out of 10 when I'm playing video games, it's video games like that I'm streaming. So that's why I had to construct my little ARVbox thing, which allows me to stream on the road, because otherwise it's like I can play these other games, but I want to be able to, you know, play them for you guys, basically. Okay. What are we doing on time? Oh, we've got about a half hour left. Excellent. Fine day, my friend. Might I interest you in my wares? I have all manner of goods that you need. I know you need. Show me what you have. You tell me anything about the seal I found at Vendrian's Well. Sorry I can't help you. I've never seen anything like that before. Alright, show me what you have for sale. Let's see if we could find something you like. Let's start by selling some stuff, shall we? Sell this. Sell this. Sell this, sell this, sell this, sell this, and sell that. Okay. Merchant House Handover Quill. Okay. Now, let's see if we have anything that's worth our time here. Doesn't look like it. Okay. Not so much. Yeah, it's improved significantly. I really like Dishonored 2. I mean, I've only played the first couple of missions. I really like it so far. I love Dishonored 1. I'm willing to give Arcane a little bit of a pass. Yes, they've had problems, but they patched it fairly quickly. As it turned out, for me, I ended up having all these other things happening, so it turned out that I wasn't able to get back to it until probably a week and a half or 2 weeks from now. So it ended up working out okay, but... That'll be nice, Luxantis. That would definitely be nice. Alright, what do we got? Oh. And over here. Light Bronze Ridge Helm. That's like a road. Bronze Ridge. No, that's not very interesting. Take all. I find I always forget about water and food in Pillars and also this game. It's a long time. It's like, I always forget it. I'm just like, oh yeah. And then this thing that I could do something with, but I don't at the moment because reasons. Always forget. Thank you, Garrett. I'd say Final Fantasy VII. Definitely not flailing in the guild. Yeah, I'm going to be closing up shop tonight for GOG. Oh my God, long load time. And then it'll be Mercer Simp will be playing tomorrow with Gianna Sisters. Hey Dizzy, how you doing, man? I'm okay. I'm hanging in there, Dizzy. You know, one day at a time, as they say. I'm hanging in there, but trends are in a good direction, so that's good. In terms of my overall stress levels and scheduling and all that kind of good stuff. So, but thanks for asking, man. I appreciate it. Ain't nobody. For some reason, I saw that CT Matlock, and all of a sudden I started thinking of the song "Ain't Nobody Loves Me Better, Makes Me Happy, Makes Me Feel This Way." I know it has nothing at all to do with what you were posting, but that's where my mind went. Oh, Siren. Well, this is going to be interesting. It always goes well. When Siren's involved, we get along so well, the two of us. This is going to be ending a lot of wrath. Okay, her headdress flashes as she speaks. You're unable to tell if it's trick of the light or the gem is actually glowing. She's swept up in oration and seems completely unaware you've arrived. There's a lull in her conversation and she opens her eyes.
Well, look who's here. And what brings you to Lethian's Crossing? Can't imagine it's the scenery or the quaint locals. Have you come to spoil my fun? Tunon probably insisted you find me, didn't he? Because we can't let Siren have any fun, can we? Let's control her. Let's tell her what she can and can't do. Let's use her to destroy nations. But enough of that talk. What do you think of my followers?
Shouldn't be doing this, Siren. These people don't truly love you. You're manipulating them.
Don't worry, Fatebinder. I'm just practicing. Besides, who doesn't love having a legion of adoring lackeys?
I don't trust Siren at all. Oh, Dizzy. I don't trust her at all.
Are you going to disband this group too?
I will warn you only once. Stop that now.
Ugh, not this again. All anyone wants is for me to control myself. Why doesn't anyone want me to let loose? I know. You don't have to answer. That was a joke. I have a little more self-control than that. But maybe you're right. Perhaps if you were to allow me to accompany you. You did activate one of the spires, so your power is something I could learn from. You'd be able to teach me how to control myself.
Oh, she can be one of my characters? Oh, God. See, the thing is, I like my party, though. I like Lantry. I like Verse. She's a good ranged person, Verse and me. Barrack is the tank up front. I don't... I'll think about it.
Fine. I'll be here if you need me. There are worse situations to be in. Fatebinder, you'd like to speak again? I'm a little... Oh, Fatebinder. It's not like I was forming an army. Are you going to disband this group? Ugh, not this. That was a joke. Well then, let's go.
Okay. That way I've got her in the group, so I can always get her again in the Spires. Yeah, there's... The thing about this, Obsidian does this with other games too. It's understandable why, because voice acting is so expensive, but there's a lot of things where they voice lots of it, but not other parts of it, and it's a little bit odd as to why some parts are voiced and not other ones, so... But I mean, if you happen to know a bunch of professional voice actors like I do, if you happen to have the R vocalists, you said, no, I'm very proud of my own and very lucky to have my voice people that I'm able to have once a month, and those guys are amazing. Trendane, if you guys have never had a chance to see them, they're going to be on Friday. We're going to be doing a new game. They voice over one game a month for me on my channel, and it's Trendane Sparks, who also did the voiceover for my Icarus audio drama, and he's doing the voice, the audiobook for Greyshade, my book, my novel that just came out. George Ledoux, who is awesome, 20 years plus in the industry, really, really good at his job as well. Murin, who's another streamer on Twitch, does voice work. She's great also. Rob from Game Crashers, really, really cool dude and does a lot of good voices, also part of my D&D crew. And then Russ Guberman is an improv guy in LA. Those guys are amazing, and it's one of those things where I focus now more on the voice acting than I used to because of them. You know, so when I was playing Oxenfree, I was noticing how good the voice acting was. Just, I noticed it because I admire so much what they do. Like, great stuff is just great. Yeah, but, you know, it's funny, though, Lex. I have to say, you would be surprised. Yes, they can make money, but not as much money as you think. When you put all the overhead and all this other stuff into it, it's not as much as you might imagine. Well, good. I'm glad that nights are... Yeah, I do too, Brahms. They are to awesome. Would you say that you took a morality in the knee? Oh, the memes. It's funny to think of a world before arrow to the knee jokes, you know? What kind of a world was that? Ooh. Hello. Huh. Hello, governor. Nice. Good riddance to those uptight beast strutters. Yeah. Hell yeah. Hail to the king, baby. Alright, good night, Terry. Thanks for being here, man. Terry was with me all this afternoon and now, so Terry was with me with a lot. We got about another 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes roughly speaking, actually. And then I will call it for the night, and that'll be it for GOG. Ooh, way. Hello, governor. Wow, that is way better. Except for the control life thing, which admittedly is pretty awesome, but, I mean... Oh, it's right, I can use both of them! Ha ha ha! He's got a quill and he's got his dagger. Yes. He has all things. He will dual wield it. Even the sweet roll comment. Yeah. Oh, you fixed it. Thank you, Takanji. Thank you so much. I don't know what it was that I did wrong, but thank you. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing, Wanderer. My name is Phaedra, and this is my beautiful wife, Dea. What brings you to town? Dea! Dea! Dea comes and she is your wife. Is there anything I can help you with? What can you tell me about Lethian's Crossing? I've lived here most of my life, but honestly I'm not sure there's much to say. We're a center for trade and a waypoint for travelers. The walls are a little scary, but you get used to them over time. What about you, dear? What is there to say? The town's all right, but living under the thumb of an occupying force makes it hard to truly relax. Sorry we couldn't be more help. You haven't always lived here? Several years before Kairos' invasion, I moved away from Lethian's Crossing. Yeah, maybe that's what I did. I didn't do the underline, maybe. I don't know. Being the granddaughter of Lethian came with a responsibility I wasn't ready for. I met Dea in the Bastard City and decided to stay for a while. We were living in the Bastard City when we heard about Kairos' forces moving to the Tiers, so we took that as our motivation to move. And I think we got out of there at just the right time. We traveled a bit with a couple of caravans, but nothing really seemed like home until I returned to Lethian's Crossing. You never realize how much you can miss a place until you've been away for a while. But I could live anywhere as long as this one's with me. It's true that trade hasn't been as vibrant here recently, but I'm sure it's simply a temporary setback. The merchants will sing and dance for you, trying to convince you their suppliers are unaffected, but everyone's feeling it. I have faith the world will set itself right soon enough. People call me a fool, but I don't see the benefit in bemoaning your fate. You take what life hands you and make it work. You're Lethian's granddaughter? One of many, I suspect, but I'm the only one anyone knows about. And before you ask, no, Eldian is not my father. Maybe you haven't heard, but my grandmother wasn't exactly the settling down type. How do you feel about the disfavored? I don't have an issue with them. Their curfew may be a bit strict. Well, you won't have to worry about them anymore, so... Their curfew may be a bit strict, and it gets hard to keep track of every rule they invent and all the regulations they've enacted. Otherwise, they've left us alone to live our lives. Anything's better than having the Brotherhood, Day exclaims. Give me 100 rules for every Brotherhood member driven from this town. Thank you for your time. Any time, traveler. If you need anything else, just let me know. Time traveler, what? Hello, traveler. Okay. Thanks for the info. Alright, good night, Hilness. Good luck with the studying. I like the idea that the athletic skill can be used to intimidate characters' conversations. Like in the middle, you just randomly flex. You're like, well, when I think about all of the power I might have, I wonder who can help me through this, you know. The person's like, Oh, no. Ah. Welcome, friend. What brings you to my humble trading post? Have a certain something in mind or just browsing? Could you tell me anything about this seal? I found it in Vendrian's well. Never seen that before. You'll have to ask one of the other merchants, dude. Somebody is going to know this stuff. I don't know what this means with Spire. Is this material that I can use in the Spire, maybe? Iron Javelin is exquisite. Yeah, I just don't think that's useful, though. Ooh. Volcanic weapon. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Alright. Learn. Learn! Let me stand next to your fire. Sigil of fire! Expressions. And we are living in a material world, and I am going to ignite your brand. Volcanic weapon. Lore required 75. Oh, I can't quite do it. Oh, damn. It's going to be awesome when he can, though. It's going to be awesome when he can use it. Whoa. Hello, Governor. I'm taking the maximum number of camping supplies. All right. Maybe I have. Grab that. Okay. There you go, Lex, yeah. Like, man. Okay. So, we got the Master of the Forge. Okay, good. This will be our last, I think, probably conversation of the evening that we'll have here. Here we go. Fatebinder, may the fires of your forge never cool. I hoped our paths would cross. Allow me this opportunity to thank you for your aid to the crossing those years back. Dispatching the chorus to cull what they could of the scourges was a blisteringly good idea. What can this servant of the flame do for you? Why have you come to Lethian's crossing? What an odd question, Fatebinder. When you showed up in the forge, I thought you had been sent to check up on me. As my mission came directly from Tunin, shouldn't you already know? I was tasked with creating an artifact to protect the forge bound from the Bane. We've been delayed too often and lost too many of our own, so it was decreed that something must be done. I created the Mage Bane helm to keep the Bane at bay. Once the helm is in place, its magic will keep the Bane locked away inside the old walls. Why'd you create a helm? The forge-bound are crafters of weapons and armor, Fatebinder, not statues and baubles. I make what I know. It's also portable and can be moved easily or used in battle should its protection be needed elsewhere in the future. For the time being, though, we'll remain here protecting the forge-bound. We have a job to do and cannot do it properly if we're constantly assaulted by outside forces. This is impressive. I could use the talents of the forge-bound to supply an army to overthrow Kairos. Would you consider joining us? Talk of mutiny? From a Fatebinder? I would have thought one so deeply entrenched in Kairos' employ would know better. And as we both currently work for Kairos, it would not be to either of our benefits to speak of such things. I've seen the fruits of such endeavors lining the path to the Archon's camps. I'm also afraid what you propose isn't as easy as you imagine. An artifact of such power can't simply be manufactured. It takes time and effort to make these items. Simple weapons and armor can be produced easily, but we're already providing those for the war. Regardless, protecting the Forge-bound is my top priority, and right now that means getting Mage Bane set. I must place my helmet before I do anything else. The settlers here have created a spot on the 3rd tier for it, and that's where I'm headed. Please join me and we'll talk further once I know Mage Bane is secure and working properly. While I'm loath to upset Kairos unnecessarily, and I'm not convinced outright defiance is the correct solution, you're right in thinking something must be done. Oh. I thought you were just going to reveal it and just tell me, and you're like, how dare you, I'm going to tell Kairos now! An outsider never arrives alone. At least that's what my mother always said. Seems she knew what she was talking about. I'm Eldian. Welcome to Lethian's Crossing. Well, if it isn't Tunin's Fatebinder. Welcome back to the Crossing. Haven't seen you around here since you put the disfavored in charge of everything. Must say my memory seems to be failing. Something I never thought I'd say. Already 1 hour over plan? No, I go from 4 to 7 p.m., Fisher. So, 4 to 7 p.m., so I'm wrapping up right now. Because it's still got 8 minutes to go. Must see my memory seems to be failing, something I never thought I'd say. The way people talk about how you came through and drove the Brotherhood out of town, you should be 10 feet tall and shoot lightning from your eyes. I seem to remember you being a little more human. Can't always tell the content of a pie from its crust, though, can you? For instance, who would give the town to the disfavored and then walk in and kill them all? Not that I'll miss the rules and schedules, but one has to wonder why you'd switch sides so readily. Hey, they attack mean, bro. But enough of my prattling. You didn't come here for a history lesson or to get my opinion of your grandeur. What can this old fool do for you? Nope. Schedule. It's always 4 to 7. I don't know. If someone wrote the schedule, I don't know, but I always go for 3 hours, 4 to 7. If you have questions about our settlement, I'm the one to ask. I have the dubious distinction of being the oldest living resident of Lethian's Crossing, so I've been here for a lot of its history. Eyes, hip, hair, and hearing might be failing, but my mind still remembers everything that happened here. What would you like to know about? I'll do my best not to go on too long about it. I know I have a problem keeping my conversations short. What about the Crossing's history? If you have questions about the goings-on in the Crossing, I've been here for more of its history than anyone else. What would you like to know? Who was Lethian? The biggest pain in the ass I ever knew? I suppose I shouldn't talk about my mother like that. She was a mediocre merchant, but a great leader. The war in the Northern Kingdoms cost her a very lucrative trade route up north, but she managed to earn trade stewerships from Kairos, and for a short time she had a monopoly on grain, salt, and tin here in the tiers. What did my grandmother say? Give a blind man time and a pile of rocks, and eventually he'll hit a target. Hey, Pretzel the Man. Yeah, it's good stuff. Not to say she didn't deserve it, but I think luck played a bigger part in her success than actual talent. But Kairos gives and Kairos takes. The next year, Lethian was stripped of her trade rights. Suddenly she had a large staff, but no goods to trade and no means to pay anyone. But she was a stubborn one. If knew if she just kept at it, eventually things would turn around for her. She figured the trade goods could come to us. The location was good enough. It's crazy how that would happen. So she decided to concentrate on making an existing local settlement into the center of commerce for the tiers, and by the claws of a beast she did just that. I thought she was crazy choosing a town nestled up to the old walls, but apparently she knew what she was doing. It wasn't long after that it was renamed Lethian's Crossing. With the bridges over the old walls, this was the only place to go if you wanted to take weeks off your trip. Eventually she hired the Bronze Brotherhood to act as our local guards. We were big enough and had enough commerce to warrant the protection. Lethian was your mother? Of course! How do you think I became the Reeve of the Crossing? It's certainly not my storytelling or charm. I may be the oldest living resident here, but that's certainly not a good enough reason to make someone a leader. Though, come to think of it, neither is just being the offspring of the former leader. But like it or not, that's how things are. My mother was a wonderful woman. She might not have been the nicest person, and she might have been overfond of a dalliance here or there, or there, or there, but who isn't? May her rest be ever free of disturbance. How did you build the old wall's bridges? Lethian was the mastermind of that. She could tie a knot with one hand, one string. I remember watching her draw systems of ropes and knots in the sand, telling me what they would do when built. I thought she was crazy. Says she got the idea for the bridges from seeing galleys pulled out of the water into dock. Apparently the hardest part was getting the initial climbing team to brave the old walls and set the first ties. But apparently you can pay a man enough rings for him to overcome his fear of old wall's predators. Okay, why did you settle here? Necessity! The rope bridges let us cross the old walls. With them it didn't matter what trade rights we had, we'd be at a crossroads to the northern tiers, an unbeatable location. The siege of Ardent and the bastard city ended up helping us. All those folks heading to points east crossed through our little settlement, and many of them decided to stake a claim with us. By then, Lethian discovered there was iron in our rivers. She thought it'd make us rich, but it also made us a target. The old walls don't make passage through the area easy, and our bridges cut days to weeks off a trip. Lethian's crossing is the best bet to get your shipment where it needs to go. Mix a mother load of iron ore into it, and we suddenly had a target painted on us. What's Kairos' interest in the crossing? Iron, plain and simple. Now we have the forge bound here, toiling away with the ore they pull from the river. We are being squeezed for our resources. If you're after a drink, better to squeeze fruit than a stone, and it would seem many people find us to be very juicy indeed. There was a merchant who tried to peddle iron rocks as magical because they came from areas near the old walls. One of the people he sold to happened to be a disfavored courier. The courier then showed the rock to a forge-bound master who immediately recognized its potential for making superior weapons. It was brought to Kairos' attention, and soon afterward, soldiers and forge-bound, will be Ward, W-A, came to Lethian's crossing. They came with such force our options were to either comply with what they wanted or die. I agree with Lex. I would start with Baldur's Gate 1 also. But I would play Baldur's Gate 2 as well. Land, breeding stock. They've been here longer than I have, so maybe they consider it home too. But Kairos' purse masters are no longer paying them to fight. And if a mercenary is killing for free, something's suspect. In the end, I suppose it doesn't matter. Retcom and Rayataman will never let go. He feels he owns his town and he aims to have it be his. There you go, Fisher. That's fair. I'm with you on that. Alright, let's see. What can you tell me about the Spire? Which is one of the things I wanted to do here. Sometimes I wonder why Lethian thought it was a good idea to settle here. We already had a Bane problem before the Forge-bound set up here. Now that they're using the crossing as one of their main forges, the Bane issue's even worse. Since the Bane are drawn to magical energy, we have to be on constant alert for them escaping. The Disfavored did what they could against the Bane that escaped years ago, but even the Disfavored might have its limits. How'd you seal the door? I have a keystone that can be used to open or seal the door. One of Kairos' soldiers found it while they were looking for a way to seal 2 doors to keep the Bane from escaping. The sealed door is only a temporary measure, though. It holds the Bane back for now, but it won't last for much longer. That's why Tunin instructed Zidania to create an artifact to protect Lethian's crossing from the Bane. You let me into the old walls? I'm afraid that's a risk I'm not willing to take, Fatebinder. Once the doors are unsealed, there's a good chance Bane will flood into Lethian's crossing. As much as I'd love to help you, I can't endanger the town like that. Yeah, that's fair enough. Right, exactly. Tell me your thoughts on the Bronze Brotherhood. They were here since the crossing was founded. Lethian herself hired them to protect the settlement when it was just getting started, a fledgling town in the shadow of the old walls. They did such a good job, they kept them on as our peacekeepers, and that's how things went. At least until you decided to oust them and put someone else in their place. Can't say I wouldn't have done the same, truth be told. Taking pay from 2 employers is always going to end badly if you can't make both of them happy. On top of that, it seems lately that Raytaman is traveling a path no one can see, and I don't want to see what it's the end of it. Tell me what you think about the Disfavored. Strict curfews, frequent searches, and no forgiveness for missed iron and grain quotas. That's the ill of it. But the sentries keep constant vigil and treat us with respect. Politeness, even. Most of them called me Elder and bow. If someone's going fishing in your pocket and taking your crops, may as well be kind about it. The Disfavored are committed to honor and dignity in all dealings. Let's see. It's definitely not the situation I would have chosen, but things can always be worse. The water might be up to your knees, but it could also be up to your nose, is what my grandmother would tell me. What of the Earthshaker mages? A few have passed through the crossing in recent times, all headed south to the Stone Sea. At least that's the word of it. The mages didn't stay for long. And I'm glad they kept on traveling. If some madman cast a spell that cracked the foundation of the old walls, praise Kairos it hasn't happened. What of the Forge-bound? They toil away in their forge houses, day in, night out. Kairos' forces keep them well guarded since they know how to work binding ore into weapons harder than stone or bronze. I've delivered food and kindling to the forge houses, but never had much contact with the artisan mages. How have your interactions with the Scarlet Chorus been? Can't say that I have a strong opinion one way or the other, really. They didn't seem to care much about leaving the settlement behind. Once the decision was made to let the disfavored have control, they left, and I haven't seen much of them since. Any directions? I completely understand. The crossing can be a bit intimidating the first time someone arrives, but it's not as complicated as it looks. The river is named Portiscore, and it flows down the middle of the settlement. The waterfalls pouring over the old walls are Sunrise and Moonrise. The west waterfall is Sunrise because of how the sun hits it in the morning, and Moonrise got its name due to how it glows during a full moon. It's logical. The crossing itself is broken up into districts named after the waterfalls. The west side of the river is the Sunrise District, and the east side of the river is the Moonrise District. Oh, thank you, Dragon. Let's see. The different levels of Lethian's crossing don't really have names, but most people refer to them as the tiers. My home is considered part of the ground tier. The forge is on the first tier, both in the Moonrise District. Okay, I'll be on my way. Of course, let's go to the spire to make sure everything's ready. I'll meet you there when Zidania is ready to place the artifact. Alright, good. Excellent timing. Alright.
That wasn't so hard.
Oh, plans Headhunter. Oh, you can forge a mythical blade? Spire Forge upgrade? Hell yeah. A Forge-bound hammer. Oh yeah. Worn iron weapons look as they've been recently repaired and are being ready to be shipped back out. Alright. Armor is newly made by the Forge-bound, still warm to the touch.
I'd have it no other way.
Okay. Let's save it, talk to these people, and leave, and that will be a good way to wrap up. Is there something you want? Is there a problem? Yes, but these are Forge-bound matters. Nothing that concerns the High Court of Tunin, I can assure you. What do you do here in the Forge? Keep things running smoothly. Upkeep, mostly. I'm also second in command to Lohara, and so in case anything else happens... anything ever happens to her, I'm here to take charge. Alright, see ya. Do you kill with your left hand or your right? Normally I can tell at a glance, but you're a little harder to read. Why would you like to know? The gauntlet is the hardest piece of the panoply, and the most rewarding to work. So many scales of so many different sizes, then there's the rivets. I imagine you see a lot of battle in your line of work. One gauntlet is invariably going to wear out before the other. My mind's always thinking on what will need repairs first. It's as simple as that. Right. Noted. I'm Lohara, Master of Tempering and Forge Master of Lethian's Crossing. My tasks exceed the hours left in the day, but there's no harm in pausing my work if it means speaking with a Fatebinder. How may I be of assistance? Tell me about Lethian's Crossing. I don't see much of it, only this. Lethian and her merchant crew settled this area a while back. The brave fools built bridges over the old walls and made themselves a crossroads trading post. Real pioneer spirit stuff. The whole place might have been ignored by Kairos' forces, except somebody discovered there's iron everywhere. Can't wash your clothes in the river without them coming out rust-tinged. So the iron made Lethian's Crossing important enough for Kairos to want it for himself. It made good sense to move some of us Forge-bound here to Lethian's Crossing. Easier to put us near the iron instead of shipping it over mountains. That, and this is a crossroads. We can resupply our allies faster than ever from our new workshop. What about the Forge-bound? For centuries, my guild has sought the union of magical and manual perfection. While others concern themselves with the arcane for the sake of inordinate power, we study it to overcome the traditional limits of our arts and crafts. The Forge is our dominant concentration of study, but not all Forge-bound work metal. Some are weavers, carpenters, and one of our odder members fancies himself a chef. The wise and mighty Kairos has been kind to our guild. He offered to put our weapons and armor in the hands of those who would change the world. And he has been true to his word. Forge-bound iron has trampled the tiers, and all that oppose Kairos' forces rest their heads on Forge-bound spears. Okay, what about the Forge-bound master? Zidania is the best leader I've had the pleasure of working under. She guides the Forge-bound with a steady yet stern hand, guaranteeing all of our work is of the utmost quality and peerless in every regard. I am Zidania's second, which is why I am the Forge Master for Lethian's Crossing. He's my second should anything happen to me. I haven't worked with him long, so I don't know much about him or the true long-lasting quality of his work, but he was appointed by Zidania, so he must be good at what he does. Oh, maybe. Can you make me something magical? No. but almost everyone asks. Relics of arcane power must grow into themselves. They're never made from nothing. But what I can do is use my magic to swing my hammer with perfect precision, or work a cantrip to handle molten metal with my bare hands. We can build artifacts of exceeding quality and refinement, but they must be used in great deeds to grow into relics of power. And that's why we seek to put the works of our forges into the hands of the greats. True legends require the alliance of swordmaker and sword master. Why make weapons if you could kill your foes with magic? Why walk if you could pay porters to carry you? We have ways to protect ourselves from those who would abuse us, but we study the arcane for purposes of building, not destroying. We leave that to others. They can take our implements and use them to sow chaos if they choose. I would rather take chaos and force order on it. How exactly does your magic help you make things? Our most important rituals bind the crafter, tools, and materials into one entity? Close enough. In my own work, the forge bind draws the whole of my senses to the edge of the blade I'm tempering. See, that's cool. I can now see the tiniest notch, or touch my finger to the blade and feel the razor sharpness without breaking my skin. Such perfect execution of art has its cost, of course. Once heart and lungs become linked to flame and hammer, a dropped hammer could lead to a stopped heart. Most of our members die in the throes of their work, killed by a distraction or simple error. We lose a lot of apprentices. Oh my god. There you go, Dizzy. Let's speak of something else. Tell me about the disfavored. The disfavored have treated us as honored guests. We're given privacy, autonomy, food, and protection. In return, we give them the best iron in the tiers, and they put it to use. A favorable arrangement. But I'm no fool that I read too much into the kindness. We're a war resource and exist only because we feed their insatiable need for quality iron. You make something for me? Can? Most certainly. Will? Well, Kairos invented queues for a reason. I have every Iron Walker and every Scarlet Chorus ringleader sending me bribes and flattery in hopes that I'll work off schedule and make them some special this or one-of-a-kind that. I did not realize the request was so thoughtless. My apologies. There you go. I get unreasonable demands every day, but it's not the volume, it's the purpose. I do resent that Kairos demands reduce our work to mere quotas. I should be allowed to customize my work for every soldier. Only apprentices have anything to learn from making the same size helmet again and again. Forget I asked. That I will. Are you well? You look weary. Ecstatic. The ritual of the forge links heart to hammer. My blood beats only when I strike my ingot. My forge runs too hot if my breath becomes too hurried. The bond is both fatiguing and exhilarating. Couldn't that kill you? I should hope so! Better than being defiled and killed by brigands, poisoned by grain rot, or slain by childbirth. Would not a soldier wish to die in battle? Kind of interesting to think that childbirth would slay you. Is that how you excel your craft? Well, that in practice. But yes, the rituals link the senses to the materials and the body to the tools. My hand becomes a joint, the hammer the true end of my arm. I feel the heat of the forge as if it were the weather of the room. Under such circumstances, true focus can emerge. Fascinating. Alright, I must be going. Anything else? Alright. Good stuff. It's hot, don't touch it. Awesome. Nothing's Crossing may not be the best place to live, but it's a great place to get materials. I'll bet. Okay. Good stuff. Alright, let's get out here. I'm going to save it. And that'll be it for Tyranny for this week. As soon as we actually get there. Just a quick reminder, guys, that next week will be, during Pen and Pixels, will either be me continuing this, or possibly Dungeons & Dragons with the GOG stream team. I have to confirm, but if all goes well, we'll be doing that next week, and then the week after, of course, I would continue Tyranny. If we're not playing this next week, or playing that next week, then we'll be playing this. So one or the other will be the deal. And on Friday... Again, make sure to check out my channel on Friday because I am going to be playing with our vocalists, my voiceover team. So if you liked some of the voiceover stuff that you heard, if you were, our discussion of voice acting that you heard earlier on, you want to see more amazing voice acting, definitely hang out for them because they are really good at what they do. And I pretty much know the game that I'm going to be using for them. We'll see. Also, if you have not already done so, please make sure to follow the stream. Please make sure to follow the stream. Please make sure to check out, subscribe to the stream if you can as well. You get some awesome emotes and stuff like that. And please check out all of the channel and the streamers individually too. We have our own Patreons and things like that we do also. That's going to close it down for GOG for tonight. We will be back tomorrow with Immerse Simp running speedrunning Gianna Sisters. So make sure to stop by and check him out. But that's going to be it for me. Next week will be episode, I think, 60 of Pen and Pixels as I continue Tyranny or play Dungeons & Dragons, one or the other. Or again, I'll be on my channel on Friday with the Art Vocalist, so that should be good times. But otherwise, thank you all so much, and thank you all for hanging out with me. A lot of fun tonight, and I was glad that we were able to hang out together and make some progress, because I think we did do that. Thanks, everybody. You guys are great, and I'll catch all of you wonderful people very, very soon. Until then, everyone be good to each other. Have a good night.
Searching though I don't know